Hello, everyone. We are the Lost Caravan RPG. We do one-shots, mini-series, and long-running campaigns. If it's TTRPG, we pretty much do it all. It feels so good to be back. And tonight, we are playing Blades in the Dark. I've been gone for months, years, it feels like. But here we are with a... Can you call Blades in the Dark a classic? Does it count
I
as a
think at this
classic?
point, yeah.
Playing a
Definitely
classic.
foundational at this point, but
Yeah. If you've never played it, you've at least played a game that's been inspired by it.
Or watch someone do that.
so many stealable mechanics and
Yeah.
principles.
Wow.
It's just-
It was only published in 2017.
That's
So
crazy.
no, it's not a classic.
Wow.
Crazy.
I mean,
Um,
it's any game that's come out since has stolen something from it.
I mean,
9
that's
times out of 10,
almost
so
a decade
it's the way it
ago,
is.
so, you know.
Yeah.
No, stop saying that.
But before we...
I know, it hurts me. No.
I forgot to turn on the villain points. Hold on.
No.
I
No.
thought you were
What?
being nice.
What?
In this game,
No.
we the villains.
Me? Nice?
No.
Scoundrel. Hey, we're scoundrels. We're morally gray scoundrels.
There we go. But before we jump into it, we do
God damn
have
it.
just a few announcements to go through. Thank you for the villain point. The first
Oh
being...
god.
Now we're gonna get like 6
No.
instead of 3. No, because everyone knows you've drawn chat's attention.
There is,
The shiny
thankfully...
keys have been jingled.
There's a cooldown,
No.
thankfully.
The truly horrifying thing is that LC wants to get back at me for Mod
That's
2.
true.
Because I gave 2 villain points then.
Before we dive in, we do have just a few announcements to go through. The first being we do have a sponsor for tonight's stream. That is Soul Muppet Publishing. They are a publishing company that has tons of great games, including Orbital Blues, which we played not too long ago, and which we're playing again very soon, which is just lovely space cowboy adventure. It's so much fun. Highly recommend you go check them out. You can use our link there, and anything you get does go to support us, and we heckin' love you for it. Other than that, if you miss any of our streams, you can find them on our YouTube channel, which is just Lost Caravan RPG at YouTube. We have something like 270 videos, which is crazy. But yeah, go check them out. Go see all the cool stuff we do. And if you want to come roll some dice with us, we do casting calls each and every month. Next month is mostly Call of Cthulhu week, so there's actually not a ton to cast for other than that. But I'm super excited. That's going to be so much fun. And I think that's pretty much all I got. I'm going to kick up some music here. That's the one. And go around, give everyone a chance to tell you who they are and where you can find them on the internet. And who they're playing tonight. That's what I meant. Who they are, who they're playing tonight. It's been a while.
I was like, you don't want me to start with plugging. That's a bad start.
No.
We'll go down the line, starting from me, which means that up first is Heck.
Oh, okay. Hey everybody, it's me, Sir Heckalot. You know, I'm back. I'm here on your screen. And tonight I'm playing Theodosia, whose alias is the Huntsman, and her job class, I'm not sure what the term is here. But she's playing the Spider. We're gonna see how that goes. Moving on
Great.
over.
Overling.
Oh, hello, I'm Ling. I'm going to be playing Pedia Casavel, aka the Mystic. And I got nervous and forgot what else we're supposed to say.
That's it. And
Shall
over
I
to
describe
Mike.
her? Okay, cool.
Or
Hello.
we'll do our intro
my-
scenes as we're playing, let you describe them then.
Sorry.
My name is Mike, or Mikey Fatum, and tonight I am playing the Grave.
Yeah.
He is the Hound.
And over to Ethan, who's joining us for the second time.
Ah, it's me. It feels like so many more because I just lurk in the background of
True.
all of Blair's streams. But I am Ethan at EJ the Great on things. Tonight I'm playing Fina Keel, aka Bosun, the Lurk.
Yeah.
That's my playbook.
And over to Sin, who's played with us too many times to count.
It's true. I've been here long enough to be part of the furniture.
Sure.
Hello, I am Sin, asynthetic20 on Twitter, not so much Twitch. But I am here, playing the character of Odd, who is the Leech. And she is quite possibly the most unhinged character that I've played on Lost Caravan, so that's something to look forward to. I use they, them pronouns, and she will use she, her pronouns.
Heck yeah. And of course, that just leaves me. I'm Andrew, your storyteller for tonight's game, as for most games around here. Although you are going to see a bunch of friendly faces in the near future, because we have a bunch of great people that want to tell a bunch of great stories, especially for Cthulhu Week. I'm so excited. Alright, I think that's...
Cthulhu Week. It's like Christmas for weirdos.
That's not the name of it. It's the Caravan of Cthulhu. That's... Music is far too cheery.
Y'all,
The
I'm
Carathulu?
so sad. I double booked myself. I was going to be in one of the games, and I just have to say what that game is. It's the Cowboy Cthulhu. I
Oh,
don't
yeah,
remember
Y'all of
what day it
Cthulhu.
is. It's Y'all of
Yeah.
Cthulhu.
Yep.
And that is the best name ever
Oh my
So
God.
good.
devised.
Oh,
I wish school wasn't starting like just around that week. I was just like, I don't need to do this to myself, but I'm so
Yeah.
the FOMO is real.
well, I suppose we should probably dive on into this then. And I promised it would be
Yes.
hard for any characters to die, but never impossible. In the dark
Trauma
and
comes
foggy alleyways of the sprawling city of Duskfall, a chilling game of cat and mouse unfolds. Within its shadows, a clandestine group of assassins, known only as the Whispers of Dusk, have emerged to combat an insidious threat that plagues the city's denizens. A bloodthirsty serial killer with a penchant for terror. For months, the city's cobbled streets have run crimson with the blood of innocents. The vile murderer, donned in a black hooded cloak, shrouded in mystery, has left a trail of lifeless bodies in their wake. Their victims each bearing a macabre signature of a raven tattooed on their lifeless palms. But as the body count rises and the city's despair deepens, our hunters find themselves hunted in return. Our journey will take us through the twisted underbelly of the city, where we'll encounter a darkness that few will ever live to talk about. In the heart of Duskfall, a deadly dance of death and deception begins. High-stakes battle between those who lurk in the shadows and a merciless killer who revels in the night. Our clock is ticking, and the soul of the city hangs in a balance. Only time will tell if we can unravel this twisted enigma and put an end to the reign of terror that grips this city, or if they, too, will succumb to the darkness that strives to extinguish. As we pan down onto the city, we see that even midday, where there should be folks bustling, the lifeblood of this city should be flowing, there are very few people out on the street. Not only that, but a dark fog has rolled in, making the low visibility of these streets even worse. Roll my first die of the game. 3. Mr. Grave. Would you give us a description and tell us what you're doing at this moment?
So the Grave is a tall, like 6 foot, extremely thin man. He looks like he could be blown over by a strong breeze. He wears a long, dusty red trench coat, no shirt underneath, and has a pistol on his side and a wide-brimmed like hat, sort of somewhere between a fedora and a cowboy hat on top of his head. His skin is pale and kind of translucent. His blonde hair is clumped and falls down to his shoulders, but looks like it hasn't been washed in some time. And he has strapped to his back a very long, rifle, and is taking a drag on a hand rolled cigarette.
As you are standing there, staring out at the empty street, or what little you can see of it through the fog, Ina, you see this figure smoking, barely visible, and the closer you get, the more you're recognizing the shape, the color pattern, the cloak, the rifle of your companion. Would you give us a description and tell us what you're doing?
Yeah, Fina is probably fairly tall compared to a lot of other people. She comes from Tykeros, which means there's any number of telltale signs of perhaps some interesting heritage somewhere in her background. She has these like tinted lens glasses that kind of obscure her eyes, which maybe don't quite have the same coloration as you would expect from just your typical person. There's this sort of grayish, bluish undertone to the skin that gives it just kind of a different shade to it. But most notably is she has these like thick, like they look like black dreadlocks that kind of go down to the middle of her back, but they're actually octopus tentacles that will move and change colors and bioluminesce when she does her more arcane things, because Tykeros is weird, y'all.
Amazing.
Hell
But
yeah.
other than that, she just has her like very form-fitting like eel skin suit covered by a coat with a hood up, and of course her blade like stuck in a boot. But, yeah. She'll just approach and reach for the cigarette.
Grave flicks it a couple of times, and then thinks about it, and then hands it over.
She'll just take a quick drag and then hand it back and just kind of take a look around and what's going on.
Find anything interesting on your walk tonight?
Did I find anything interesting on my walk tonight?
I mean,
Yes.
all
Did
of you
find...
have heard rumors. All of you know that this murder has been on the loose for a while now. No one's really done much to combat it successfully, at least. But you also probably both would have heard that there has been a recent attack. So recent that the site of the murder itself has not yet been cleaned. And if rumors are to believe, they don't have any intention of cleaning it. They're done. The local law enforcement is done cleaning up after this murder. They've gone back to protecting their own and those nobles that sit up in their ivory towers.
Yeah, I think Fina would just say, well, we have another victim not too far away, and I think the Bluecoats have decided that their resources are better spent elsewhere, so...
Right. Surprised it took them this long, honestly, to give up.
It's gotten expensive.
Well, drops a cigarette in the street and pushes it out with his large boot.
Theodosia, you can hear this muffled conversation through the fog, passing through a very empty street. Give us a description and tell us what you're up to.
Sure. So Theodosia is a pretty average height, average size woman with very dark black hair that is pinned up into braids going back into a bun at the back of her head. She has vibrant green eyes. Is wearing bright red lipstick. She's wearing a very like shoulder bearing shirt that is still relatively practical. It's very movable. As with the rest of her outfit, still fashionable for a night out, but could still absolutely get her hands dirty if she wanted to, including these pairs of boots that is clicking up the alleyway that is towards the other two members of the party. Heel probably spiky enough to stab a man if she really wanted to. Um, yeah. She'll just kind of peer over from the fog and to say, or the bluecoats just figured out that they don't work for any of us. Who knows? All kinds of fog out here. Perfect weather for a rat to be skulking around.
Perfect night for a nice long walk as a rat catcher, I would think.
Perhaps.
I was under the impression we were looking for some kind of raven.
Yes, Fina, we were being metaphorical.
I see.
Odd. In fact, Odd and Pythia. Is that how you pronounce that? The two of you have convened not too far from here, as you have all kind of come to the central meeting point. The two of you find yourselves together, walking down these cobbled streets. We'll start with Odd. You want to give us a description?
Yeah. Odd is probably about 5'3", 5'4" in, 2-inch heels. She is wearing leathers with a hooded coat and an executioner style hood under it. The executioner style hood is covering a large burn that is over her right eye. And she also has several what look like scars from claw marks around her mouth. And currently, she is skipping around Pythia with a bug net that the handle is broken off, so the handle is only in her hand. And she is trying to catch the fog in her bug net, which would seem like a really weird thing to accomplish, except you could swear that the fog is moving into the net, and just whenever she skips, that's when it gets away.
And Pythia, description, please.
So Pythia is following just a few steps behind. She is a whisper. She's about 5'11", mixed Severosi and Tigrosi heritage. So she's has tan skin with bioluminescent dots that go across the bottom of her face and down her arms. So when she's out in public, she's very covered up most of the time. She also has a hat and a tight long braid in the back because, again, when she lets it loose, it kind of has a mind of its own and flows around and does its own thing, which can be unnerving for some folks. And she's carrying a short stick that kind of has a glow on the end. And every once in a while, you see her just kind of go like, but you don't see who she's talking to.
Well, as the two of you are just kind of meandering along, you round the corner to see that there is a figure shrouded in the mist. Knowing that you've come to meet your allies, that's not entirely unexpected. So you get closer and Doesn't seem to matter how close you get, details just don't appear. They seem shrouded, no matter what light is hitting them, the distance that you are. Doesn't seem to matter. And you catch the briefest glint of what you both recognize to be a blade, just as if they were fidgeting with it in their hand.
Odd. Odd. Odd.
Mm.
Yeah. Let me step back here a little bit. I think I see something in the corner over there. I'm concerning. I don't want you to rip your net on it.
No, that doesn't sound good at all.
Mm-mm. So just kind of keep a distance and kind of try to see if I can make out what the flash was.
Awfully strange night to go for a walk, isn't it?
Isn't it always?
For some. Do you not fear the mist? What it hides?
No,
I'd rather think the mist should fear me.
and besides, the mist hides me.
Steve, that's not the first time I've heard that. I look forward to when we meet again.
I believe I've met you yet. What do you call yourself?
Call myself anything. Others have named me for me.
Do you like the name they've given you?
I don't think it matters.
Oh, names matter quite a lot.
Not to the dead, they don't.
Are you
I'm there,
saying you're
friend.
dead?
You think I'm dead?
I don't know. You haven't gotten close enough.
They will take a step towards you. No.
Pythia extends her staff and the ends start crackling with electricity.
It's not your time. Not yet. Turn around. This is your one and only warning.
I look at her.
Take a step back. And another step, and are very quickly swallowed up by the mist.
Odd is going to, like, turn around in a circle and be like, what do I do now?
Perhaps we should take an alternate route. It's rather vague warning. Let's go this direction.
Okay.
Delay you're getting to the agreed upon meeting point by a little bit, but the rest of you occasionally hear footsteps coming up the cobbled road, but they usually quickly turn off. Someone that unfortunately had to leave the safety of their homes and brave the streets. But mostly it's quiet. So you finally hear your pair of companions, probably most notably Odd, who has that familiar skip or that unusual walking pattern that you've all clocked by now. Your companions appearing through the fog.
The arrhythmic skip of heels.
Mhm.
You'll see a little points of light before her face comes into view. She has glowing silver eyes and black sclera.
Grave has zero reaction to them walking out of the mist, just staring in their direction and keeps staring.
Fina kind of gives a little, like, almost like a tip of the hat, but there's no hat, and then the like hair kind of, there's like a wave of like bioluminescence through it as like a separate wave.
So cool.
Of like,
Hello, cousin.
see anything interesting?
Saw a blade.
Attached to a person with no name.
And not in the fun way, it was in his hand.
You saw
Interested.
blades.
No, I'm interested to know what the fun way is for you.
She just smiles.
You shouldn't be trusting any blades in the dark, I don't think.
Roll
No.
Camera freeze.
Somebody had to. Somebody
Take
had to.
damage.
God damn it.
The gent said that he didn't have a name. Or at least had many names. Which reminded me of what my mother said. If you didn't give a girl a name, that would be rather odd.
Now, they gave us some vague warning. Didn't quite pick up what it was supposed to be, other than they didn't want us there.
What did they say exactly?
That it wasn't our time.
Turning back, it was our last warning. They didn't think the dead had any use for names, which makes me think they don't know many dead.
Certainly a strange opinion to have in Duskfall. I had two ghosts for roommates for a while. And that wasn't even that many for the building I was in.
Ghosts do have all the best parties.
Mhm.
So, we have an ominous warning, an untouched crime scene. I think it's time to get to work. Right?
I think so.
Ideas on where to start?
I would say the crime scene.
Maybe a little bit more tangible than a warning. For now.
People who skulk around in the shadows giving ominous warnings don't tend to leave well enough alone anyway. We'll see him later. Or her, or them. Whoever. it is.
Definitely.
Could be a demon. You never know these days.
Honestly, speaking as people who creep around in places they're not supposed to be and ignore all warnings, makes sense.
If it is a demon, I hope we can be friends.
So, I feel like we can go into an engagement role. You're technically
Ooh.
starting a job. What kind of mission do you think this all falls under?
That's an excellent question.
Is an excellent question.
I might consider it
Um,
stealth, but that's just me.
That's what I was leaning towards.
I would say stealth, if anything, because we are just really trying to gather information from this crime scene.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the entry point, not really deceiving. I could maybe see an argument for a cult depending on how we're planning on investigating the crime scene,
Absolutely,
because the
my second
arcane
choice.
power could be like communicating with ghosts
Mhm.
and around to see about things. But it all, engagement rolls and engagement roll.
100%. Anyone else have an opinion? I think we can. I'm happy to go with stealth.
Yeah, let's go
Yeah.
with it.
All right.
I'm not 100% on what the options are, so
So
I don't.
you have assault, which is an intent to do violence. You have deception, which is luring, tricking, or manipulating. Stealth, which is trespassing unseen. Occult, which is engaging in a supernatural power. Social, which is negotiating, bargaining, or persuading. Or transport, which is carrying cargo or people.
Stealth makes sense to me.
All right. So for anyone that hasn't played Blades in the Dark before, this is where we do our engagement roll. We get 1 dice just because you're that dang lucky. Would anyone say that this operation is particularly bold or daring?
Not at this point, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's like given
We're
that
just
the
gonna
law
go looking-
enforcement like isn't even there.
If the
Yeah.
if the score is taking down the serial killer, then yes. If this is just a brief score to gather information, then I would say no. But
Does-
I
depends.
think that we had
Depends
an
on the scope.
opportunity at a much more dangerous situation just a moment ago.
I'll
Mhm.
tell you that I'm considering the scope to simply be this crime scene.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Then,
well
yeah, I
then no,
wouldn't say,
not,
I wouldn't
not
say so
particularly
at all.
bold or daring.
I wouldn't say that we are exposing any particular vulnerability. Do you have any friends or contacts that you feel could provide insider help?
Sentinel is Sentinel a police force? What does Sentinel mean?
Sentinels it's the police force or the blue coats, because I have a friend who's a blue coat that
Okay.
could potentially be helpful.
Uh,
What are the
knowing that I was on the way to a crime scene, I probably would have stopped by Veldrin for any mind-altering substances that might increase my perceptive capability.
I can see that, yeah.
I have a dead friend that might know a thing or two.
Well, then
Sentinel, by the way, is a purposefully vague term. They're just a guardian of something, and you kind of get to decide what they guard. That could be like a wealthy estate, or it could be a specific person, or
Got
they
it.
could be
Okay.
elite blue coats.
That's
Kind of
actually
up
really
to
cool.
up to you a bit.
Yeah.
Mhm. There's a lot of that on the friends section of like conflicting information and like different. It's fun.
Are there any other elements that we should consider?
I mean, we don't seem to be pressed for time or have any sort of limiting factor on our investigation, so that could be a plus in that we just aren't rushed or bothered, which is always
I'll
nice.
take that.
But
Well, 3d6. Ooh. Got a 6.
Oh no.
Beautifully done.
Ooh, yay.
You're in a controlled position, which is fantastic.
narratively appropriate.
Hmm.
As the 5 of you march on, following your underground leads to where this murder took place, you'd find streets are as abandoned as they have been. Though, getting to the crime scene, you do see that there are figures there through the mist, digging through a half-collapsed building looking for something. Doesn't seem like they've noticed you.
I would like to take a look at them through the scope of my rifle and see if I can pick up any more details.
Gonna mark off 2 load and add your rifle to the scene.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
Oh, we should all pick our load right
Oh,
now.
yeah, we
Two.
should all-
Yes,
Oh.
thank you.
Probably normal for me.
Same.
Yeah. Normal for me.
Especially if nobody's around, it's like, who are we gonna scare?
Exactly.
I mean, by that concept, I guess we could also do heavy, but yeah, I think I'd go normal.
How do you feel about a study roll?
Sure, yeah, I love study. Why not?
I think you're definitely in a controlled position.
Oh no, I'm terrible at study. Can I do survey?
I'd take a survey.
All right.
I think
Appreciate
you're
it.
definitely in a controlled position. Probably limited effect.
Control limited. You got it.
This game. God, that's just a beautiful
Hmm,
mechanic.
yep.
Ow!
I see nothing.
Ow!
You can press on by seizing a risky opportunity, or you withdraw and try a different approach.
I think the grave would withdraw for now.
As you start climbing up one of the buildings, trying to get that vantage point to peer off, and you hear cracking underfoot. The wood that's unfortunately not as well maintained through certain parts of the city. Things are just starting to give. And from that vantage point, for that moment you have, you see just a small flock of very dark birds above you, watching, before you're forced to very quickly make your way back down or risk plummeting a story and a half to the floor.
Okay. I tip my hat to the birds on the way down.
They surprisingly don't tip their hats in return.
Shocking.
I
That's
think
very
Fina would
rude.
try to get closer to the situation, like stealthily, of course.
Get at a prowl roll.
And just see. Sure, I'll take it.
I-
Um,
Depending on how close you want to get, I would certainly say this is risky, but the closer you get to the greater effect you have.
Gotcha. So I do have my ability is that when I push myself, I can perform a feat of athletics that verges on the superhuman.
Ooh.
Or maneuver to confuse your enemies to attack each other. That's not relevant right now. If I push myself, could I get like to a particularly high vantage point by like running along the wall or something like that? Is like what is the
I mean,
yeah?
this is your typical very narrow streets, very high buildings, just floor after floor stacked on each other. So yeah, if you wanted, you could get as close as you want, even above the actual crime scene, kind of just peering down. Absolutely.
Problem is trading that stress. I think for now, I'll leave it and just roll normally because even then I can do some climbing.
It's a risky
but-
to great effect, especially if you're trying to get right on top of the crime scene.
Yeah, I'll take that. Prowl, position, risky, effect, great. Let's see what I got.
Oh my god.
That's terrible. That's the worst I could do.
Wow.
Ow!
That was triple ones.
Hey, all those villain points y'all were buying, you don't need them.
You don't
don't
need
need
them.
'em.
We're
The
just
game
gonna
does
fail
it.
ourselves.
The game does it for me.
That's so amazing of a roll. I will let you describe it.
Oh yeah. I think there's like a few good like hops to get some height like going along the wall.
Mhm.
Like there's definitely some like good parkour at the start. But then you're never ready for your foot to just stick into the wall
Hmm.
and just go through the wall of the building. And so it definitely ends up like foot is planted inside a wall and then kind of just like hanging half upside down. definitely wasn't the quietest thing in the world, but it's certainly not a fun position to be in.
There's just a moment as you're climbing, still kind of staring down, trying to get an idea of what's happening, trying to listen, and there's suddenly just a bird in your face. Your foot,
Yeah.
like, just kind of instinctively reaches out to try to grab something, gets stuck, and your entire body just forks down. I'd say that's a level 1 harm of a sprained,
Sprained ankle.
at least
Yeah.
a sprained ankle.
Yeah, sprained
And
ankle.
you
That
all
makes
see
sense.
your companion now hanging a good 2 stories off the ground, just dangling there by their ankle.
There's like some upside down thumbs ups, so you're like, is that a thumbs down?
What?
Is it
Which
fine?
that?
We don't know. It's just kind of both of like, I don't know. I'm sure I can definitely see the people below me though.
You can clearly see them and hear them.
Yeah.
Just like holding the bug net under Fina.
Or, well, I should say that you're hearing them in more of a muffled conversation, maybe not as good a position as you wanted.
Yeah,
but you're
it's still a
hearing
miss.
something about looking for a safe, something about don't touch the bodies. It doesn't seem like they're finding what they're looking for.
Was there like, have the Death Wardens already been by here for this, or are the Death Wardens not like doing that for these murders?
No.
Because that's deeply unsettling.
This, short of what they've done here, this place looks untouched.
I think while they have been trying to get physically close, I might try to get pharmacologically close by expanding my senses
Okay.
to do a bit of studying from afar.
How would you like to do that?
Just using the substance that I said I previously procured.
Okay, gotcha. I feel like that almost falls under a tune. Feel free to
Does it?
counter my offer, though.
I was hoping for study.
I'm fine with study.
Okay.
I grant it to you for my failure.
However, I do think that it makes sense for it to be risky
Absolutely.
because the substance could have an unintended effect.
It's a risky standard.
Okay.
The first
That's a
roll
5.
above a 3 we've seen so far.
Nice.
The drug, or the substance, I should say, it starts to burn on contact. And you can feel your veins just starting to rise to the surface. It's getting hard to breathe, hard to think. Everything is going cloudy. Take one breath in, and to slump back. But you are seeing far more than any mortal should ever see. The rest of you still there can definitely see that Odd is breathing. It's very labored breaths. It's very pained. And I'll add a level 1 harm of injured lungs. What exactly are you looking for?
My main concern at this point is examining the assuming they're people there, to see if they might pose a physical threat, and seeing the actual crime scene itself would be subsidiary to that. Like, in the background, I'm thinking about, oh, I'm looking at a crime scene,
Mhm.
but my main concern is the possible threat.
I mean, you can clearly see that they're armed. Yes, flashbacks are absolutely allowed. Um, but it doesn't look like they had anything to do with this. What you're seeing, what their auras are giving off to you is intrigue. It's wow, my brain can't think of the word. Mystery. It's like they're trying to piece a puzzle together just like you are.
Oh, look. We went looking for rats and found some roaches.
What the hell does that mean?
What do you do with a roach? You squish it.
Okay.
Of course, this is just a unconscious body of Odd saying this. Uh, they are hanging out. There's this moment where you all hear something come crashing down as they went to move a beam. An entire chunk of a wall just collapsed under its weight. A string of profanities can audibly be heard by
That
all of you.
Yeah, use that as an opportunity to dislodge myself from the wall and try to get down to street level since these dudes just seem kind of silly.
Uh, if I had rolled better than triple ones for a fortune roll,
Oh
I
my God.
may have asked you for a roll, but no. The fact that they have knocked down a chunk of wall, buried a good quarter of the room that they were just searching, you're fine to just dislodge yourself and kind of come creeping down.
If they seem as harmless as they look, and it, like, you know, there's not just some secret horrible thing waiting, I think Fino will just be like, "Hey boys, what you doing?"
They don't seem particularly surprised that someone's here. It's more that you were just suddenly there. And two hands do go down to the blades, but very quickly
That's
relax.
fine. Yeah, that's okay. What are we doing? Dirtying a crime scene?
None of your business. How about your day?
I think Fino will just turn around to everybody else and just kind of give them like a, come on, like these guys are harmless.
Mhm. Yeah,
Um,
just walking out.
Just random, odd, like speaking into the ether. The roach doesn't recognize the boot.
Grave is
Odd,
I'm
Just
not the
going-
talker for the group.
Yeah.
Odd, you want to give me a fortune roll to wake up?
What is a fortune roll?
Roll 3d6 and just tell me what your highest die is.
Okay. 3. Okay.
Oh, I thought you were saying three
highest
was
is
your
5.
highest die.
It's a few moments of coughing something up out of your lungs. And then finally opening your eyes. Everything seems so incredibly bright for just half a second. In that it reverts to normal.
Grave is going to step out of the shadows with his rifle already out and trained at one of the guys, and just say, gentlemen, keep those hands away from the blades, if you don't mind.
There's only one reason to ever point that at someone. And that's to kill them.
Yeah, I don't think we're quite. Oops, sorry.
We're not at that point yet.
Either take
So-
a shot
We're-
or put the damn thing down.
You heard them. You should put it down.
All right.
Now,
It's very
boys.
much discounting the intimidation factor of a large firearm, but sure, I
Yeah.
guess the only reason to point is to shoot. Fine,
They
okay.
don't seem
There.
particularly afraid of death.
Well,
Yeah, that seems to be very common here. Um, but I think Theodosia would continue. Say, now, unless you are obviously trying to take down this entire building, I think whatever you're doing, you might need a little bit of help with.
Want help, didn't ask for it. There's nothing here anyways. Have any of you had any dealing with the crows?
I would imagine if you've been in Crowsfoot, you have at least once. Like, I don't know if
Yeah.
any, like, I don't know if my character would have specific intense dealings, but like, you would know who the crows are. I feel like most everyone. But
Just their clothing, not so much the insignia, but just now that you're here and talking to them face to face, you'd recognize enough about them to figure that that's who they're probably here for.
I think Fina would just say like, so this wasn't you?
No. In fact, not that it's any of your business, but we're here to look for some proof that it wasn't. Sick and tired of getting blamed for all this shit.
I mean, whoever did it isn't doing you any favors, like pointing at the palms with the crows like
Mhm.
carved in.
Exactly.
So it's clearly trying to set us up. We'd like
Sounds
to know
like
who.
y'all got any idea who?
If we did, wouldn't be here talking to you. We'd going after him. Why do you care anyways? Bunch of nobodies. The other one kind of like reaches out and puts a hand on his shoulder. Lowers the hood and the mask a little bit. Much more feminine, much shorter figure. We're frustrated, but might be able to help. He just kind of shrugs off her hand and goes back to digging through the rubble.
You're doing a bang-up job.
Literally. If you're not working for us, and you're not here to clean up your own mess as if you murdered them yourselves, what are you doing here?
We might be for hire.
The one to talk to about that, but if you know anything, I'd I could put in the good word for you.
Appreciate that, but we're here looking for evidence, I guess, just as much as you are.
Just out of the good of your hearts, I guess.
Oh no, evidence comes and then the fun part.
Did we actually get hired by somebody to do this, or we just decided we were doing
Oh,
this?
we're just
I mean,
doing.
there is
I was
a
wondering.
citywide bounty for a
Oh,
sizable.
okay,
sum.
then great.
Okay.
A serial killer is not always good for assassin business,
No.
right?
That's true.
You know, some people would say, "Hey, a bunch of people turn up dead. Great time to hire somebody to kill somebody I don't like." You know, like easy framing job. Other people, they're just too worried about getting murdered to think about it. So it's
Think
just
about
it's a
murdering
mess.
somebody else. Makes sense.
It's a mess on the local gig economy. Is really the main issue here.
And I think
Laura.
I'm all out of kindness in my heart.
Oh, Lara, that's Rook. We're at our rope's end at this. If there's no clues here, we're going home empty-handed, and we can't do that.
Well, have you found anything so far?
We know who they are.
Sorry, the murderer or the victim?
The victims.
Okay,
Gestures
that makes
towards
more sense.
the edge of the room where in a set of surprisingly nice dining chairs lined up on either side of a very small coffee table. A pair lie with their throats cut open, both just kind of slumped back. Older man and an older woman. That's Madame Isabella Voss and Father Ignatius Grayson. Why they-
Father?
Old priest. Not anymore, not for a long time, but here he was pretty high up there in his day.
Not
What
very
church?
high now.
There's a lot of rumor about the church, and I'm not here to spread rumors.
Do you know any of the other victims?
Plenty. But they're lining up
Yes.
to meet their final end, or as much of an end as we can offer them, and these two have been abandoned. I feel like they're the first of many that are about to be abandoned.
Well, I guess we start with what we know about the victims.
Yeah,
Everything
sorry,
carry on.
what were the names again?
For you.
Okay, thank you.
you.
Yeah.
Madam Isabella and Father Ignatius?
Great.
Madam, when we say madam, is that a form of
a
address
madam.
or a job title?
A job title.
And you said Elora and did not know any of the other victims?
I mean, there have been. It's likely that everyone at least knows some people that have died.
Yeah,
The
just if
victims
they're
always come
investigating
in
it, we're sort of
pairs.
looking.
Not typically in pairs. Sometimes entire buildings, sometimes just one. But yeah, those of you that have any history of dealing with high-end brothel workers or madams, you would recognize Isabella Voss, proprietor of the Red Petal. At least back in her day she was, long since retired, known for buying and selling secrets. Father Ignatius Grayson was a very well-kept and noble priest of the Church of Sorrow, though went under some scrutiny from the Bluecoats and was basically silenced into solitude. Again, years ago.
So these are both folks who would have, had a pretty high position and ended it with some disgrace.
Mm-hmm.
Has that been the case of any of the other victims we know about?
Well, they're all on the older side, so it's possible. Well, shouldn't say all. There's those that, at least I think, that just got in the way.
Are there any ghosts around here?
Do you have an ability to see them?
I can attune,
Yeah,
Like-
absolutely.
just in general.
Just normal attune.
Okay. Yeah, I got a couple dots in it.
Yeah.
Let's see if I have any items, because sometimes you have some items.
Um,
Well, there's the age-old Spirit Bane charm, which may do nothing or everything, just dependent on how you feel about it. That's about as close as I've got, but I also got that funny demon blood. So that
I
comes
do
with-
have access to Quicksilver.
I feel like even just having something, anything at all that could help you, just attuning to it, yeah, you'd see that there are clearly ghosts here.
any of the deceased.
Not of the deceased,
Or-
weirdly enough.
That is weird. I think Fina will turn to like Pythia and say, "Don't you talk to like these? I wonder if they saw anything. You know."
You can ask.
Um,
I think I can
and
ask
like,
for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
but as Fina was kind of shifting her perception, like all of the tentacles just kind of like start standing up and like luminescing, and like her eyes get all funny because it's like the ghost field kind of
Nice.
different perception thing.
Yeah.
Perhaps I'll ask my friend to help locate them.
I mean, yeah, Pythia, if you want to reach out, there's a plethora of ghosts around here that you could bother.
Yeah. So is that in the tumor?
And like I said, if you have anything at all that would make it easier to attune to the ghosts around you, it is so prevalent, this area is so heavy in death, that it wouldn't take any sort of roll.
Okay. And you see her spots start to glow and her braid get kind of antsy. And yeah, she'll ask Madam Isabella, are you here? Madam.
The ghosts still kind of just float around. No sign of your friend.
Other faces?
What was that?
Other faces. Nothing. Well, do any of you know anything about what happened here? General question.
They all finally turn to you. Of course. We see everything.
What happened?
Shall we show you? One of them holds a hand out.
Please. I'll hold my hand up.
Just like being hit by a ton of bricks, Pythia just collapsed. At which point you see the building kind of reconstruct itself. You hear soft music playing. You see smoke coming out of the chimney. And hear conversation and laughter. As the madam and the father seem to be engaging in an evening. I know I'm using terms that you would typically only use when you have daylight, but it's more reference to like the work day rather than the actual sunlight day itself. Like the closing of the work day, sitting down, having a drink. Would you like to press the scene forward a little?
Yes.
Would you give me a fortune roll, please? 3D dice and 3d6 dice.
Alright. Oof. Not good.
The scene pushes
These dice
on.
are cursed
like
too.
those.
Are.
It's a
No.
good game, guys. I promise. It's a fun game. It's a fair game. Normally.
Just that sometimes,
That was a 1, a 2, and a
I feel
2.
nicer.
my God.
The scene presses forward, but it's less like you're being carried along and more like you are fighting your way through a river, trying to get forward in time to see what happened. And it's just slowly tearing at you. But you see one of them get up to go answer the door. Madam Isabella kind of brushing crumbs off of her dress. Going to open the door, calling out. Be at that time. Do I know you? The voice from the other side is muffled and incoherent, but she immediately tries to slam the door, not before an arm is just jabbed in and locked it. The door's violently kicked in as she just goes stumbling back away from it. And from there, the scene is gory. There's just flashes of blade and blood. Though the two of them try to fight back, it's moments. Maybe 6-7 seconds before the struggling is done. The bodies are propped up into their chairs. Their drinks are kind of righted. Even the tea is even refilled. The figure goes over to the desk, moves a painting to the side, starts digging through something, closes it, goes up to the fireplace, sets something down, and turns, and leaves. Would you like to press the scene forward again?
I'll try.
A 2d6 fortune roll, please.
Oh, Fina definitely caught her cousin on the way down when she crumpled by the way.
I figured someone did.
Like, you know,
Way to trance.
like
Grave just kind of looked at her as she fell over.
You feel a
Two-force.
little more comfortable this time. Like the scene is starting to accept you rather than fighting you off like an infection. This figure quickly steps out, back into the street. Moments later, the fireplace erupts. That entire chunk of the room just goes up in flame. And what figures you can see in the street around, instead of rushing in to see what happened, to see if anyone was hurt, to try to help, everyone just scatters and vanishes. No one wants anything to do with it.
That's typical.
That's fairly common, isn't it?
It's... At the very least, you're likely to see looters come into a place like this. But no one has touched this place.
Up until the crows.
Up until the crows. Finally, you're violently forced back into your body. I'm going to give you a level 1 harm of... Let's call it backlash.
Ooh.
Just every once in a while, your vision kind of starts to glitch out. And it's like you're seeing into the spirit realm involuntarily.
Well, they weren't expecting it. Oh, excuse me. They seem to be having a nice evening. Were relaxed. Before someone came to the door. Did what they did and closed them back in that position. There's something having to do with painting on the wall. And there was an explosion. But no looters.
No looters at all.
Something about
No looters at all?
none.
Hmm.
There's something about that explosion that must have been significant.
Painting, which, like, now the crows are both looking around the room. That's the series of paintings left hanging up.
Hey now. If you want to learn about the painting, you jump into the goat. Like, listen, let's look around first. We don't have to get all handsy.
We're on the same side.
Process. The
Oh,
process.
but it's you're just a little aggressive is all I'm saying. I don't know you that well.
What did you see about the painting?
All I saw is that it was moved. And then I saw something placed in front of the fireplace before the explosion happened. I don't know if they were connected. Is there a safe behind a painting?
We were looking for a
They
safe.
didn't ask any questions. Possibly. But whoever did this did not ask questions. They just came in and murdered. From what I could
Also,
tell.
unrelated note, I offer Void Cat to appease
Oh,
chat.
Void Cat.
Oh,
This is very good. Do we know if like either one of the victims lived here?
This was Madame Isabella's.
Okay.
Both Madame Isabella and Father Ignatius dealt in sequence. But it didn't seem... I don't know. This person didn't seem to take time to speak to them. I couldn't tell if the Madame recognized this person or not. I don't believe so.
It didn't seem like they recognized the figure, like their face, but after a moment of staring at them, she seemed to recognize something, and it scared her.
Mm. Mm.
Don't just stand there.
So
Could we
there-
start flipping these damn paintings off the walls?
Wait, you've been searching for how long and you didn't check the paintings?
Who the hell puts things behind paintings?
Literally everyone.
Everybody.
Many people.
Like, that's the number one place to check when you're looking for. Never mind, it doesn't matter. Let's start pulling paintings off the wall.
Don't be mean.
They also wanna
Roaches
check.
don't have brains.
I will say,
We
I
may
knew
also
a
check
captain
beneath the
once.
sofa.
He didn't put anything behind painting. He kept his things in the barrels of Leviathan guts. Nobody ever stole anything.
Yeah, I
Do it.
Yeah.
see how that is the case.
There are probably half a dozen paintings left on the wall after the explosion, from just these massive, like, self-portraits of the lady herself to just scenery, landscapes. What would you like to do?
Okay.
Did I see that the person leave, or did the scene just end?
Yes, they did leave.
And they didn't seem to be carrying anything.
All right.
I'll tell
I'm
my
gonna-
friends this.
I'm gonna look at some of the landscape paintings, see if I can't find anything around or behind them.
Would this actually be a good point for a rec roll?
If
No.
if you were tearing your way through paintings, by all means.
maybe not disturbing the
Trying
crime
to
scene like this.
find. I'm trying to find the prize inside the cereal box. Okay.
Oh man. Can I make a case for using Hunt to search the paintings?
I
Can I-
won't ask for any roll at all, just a single
Okay.
d6.
Just a single D6, he says. Nothing could possibly go wrong.
Nothing could possibly go wrong.
It's a big old 4.
Or reach out, grab one of those scenery paintings, kind of pull it back. There's a slight tug as it's, pinned to the wall. You just rip through the back paper of it. Nothing.
I'm
Anyone
gonna keep
else?
trying.
Yeah,
but I
I'll
don't
just
wanna-
keep doing that.
D6, please.
Yeah.
For no reason.
Could more of us be trying? Is this?
Yeah, I was gonna say
We could all try at
all.
the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
May as
So
well.
it's just 1d6 for everybody until.
Oh, good, because that
One.
was a 1 for me. So, and a
The
2
two.
for,
How do I do?
for
We're
odd.
gonna sequentially get through all of them.
I feel like there's a fortune roll button on here somewhere that I can't find.
It's
Same.
the dice, the two dice looking things on the far left. And click on those.
There's like 7 icons. The very bottom one is 2 dice.
Oh, I see. 2d. No, 1d. Fortune.
Okay, let's
If
go
I
roll
can.
D6.
Hey,
6.
Blessings of the Void
Hey.
Cat.
Fina, we have no need for anyone else to roll.
Okay,
eh,
great. Thank you, Fina.
You all just start pulling off paintings. As Fina gets to one, just this tall, kind of like vertical landscape painting. Pull. There's a very audible click. And a boom.
And then the room explodes and we die.
a boom?
Fina, I assume you would like to try to resist this. As there's
Yeah, I'll
suddenly
resist
a
it.
fireball in your face.
Yeah, that'll definitely be something I'll resist.
Oh, I was kidding about it. Explodes and we all die.
Not at all.
Yeah.
He wasn't about to be followed.
Prowess, I would assume.
Yeah, if you're trying to duck your way out of an explosion, for sure.
All right, so 6 minus 3.
Three.
I suffer 3 stress.
Three
But that
stress,
thing doesn't happen to me.
But you shield yourself
less.
from the flames. The painting is destroyed. The safe now kind of hangs limply open.
Right.
Well, shall we take a look inside?
found it.
I will say, like, around the flame, that is when Odd kind of moves back.
Without any rolls, you would see a lot of it has been incinerated, but you are seeing probably what some of you would recognize as a deed, paperwork of ownership of some property, as well as what looks like bits of a journal, and what actually probably would have survived now that I think about it. Ball bag, just oh god, what is it called? Like if you made something out of like whale skin,
Blubber?
does that still count as leather? Whale
Yeah.
leather?
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
With his hand.
Maybe leather, like whale skin. Yeah.
But
Normally they use the bone to make things, but skin, yeah.
you
I
see
think works.
the pouch, and a lot of the rest of that is unrecognizable, unless anyone would like to make a roll.
Let's see. What have I got?
I mean, I would be down to study some of these things.
Absolutely.
Go for it.
Okay,
Uh,
cool.
You're definitely in a controlled position.
Okay.
And I would say to probably limited effect with just how little there is left.
Fair.
Could I take stress to give an additional die?
Absolutely.
I'll take it. Eh. Let's go.
There it is. There's
do
the
it.
6. It just says you do it.
That is
You
the
do it.
first 6.
The first 6 so far. We've rolled how many dice?
How
so
many
far?
dice have been
We had
rolled?
we had
Hey.
6 in the
Fina had a
pages.
6.
Fina had
Mhm.
I rolled a
yeah.
6 and
Mhm.
exploded, so who knows?
Hey guys,
Who
you
knows
know
if
in
it's
this
a good or a
system,
bad thing?
If you roll 6s, sometimes it explodes.
You know,
Yeah.
that's it. So you have the deed itself, you have the journal, and you have the pouch. Anything in any particular order you'd like to study those?
Let's look into the pouch. That struck my curiosity the most.
It is full of some kind of printed coin that is certainly not anything that anyone would use as currency today.
Hmm.
Each of them, in fact, looks like they are just slightly different.
Interesting. I don't recognize any of these.
Was going to say that Odd might take a look at the deed, but I think she might be just looking to see if it can float in the air.
Is it Theodosia? You said that was coin from many different places. It looked like.
Potentially, I mean, it doesn't look like any type of currency I've come in contact with. Probably not legal tender around here.
Maybe somewhere else.
Yeah.
Does any of the coins look like they came from? Trying to look up the name. Tycheros? I don't know if they have any different currency. If they have different currency there.
Really?
Nice.
I'm going to ask an odd question. Just bear with me. Would any of you say that you are familiar with more cultish proceedings?
Yeah.
Cultish?
Cultish.
Depends on which one.
Oh. They have good invite-only parties.
These,
So yes.
These seem more like markers, like identifiers than currency. Like something that you could present to show that you belong to a certain group without actually saying anything.
I see.
Got it.
And there's a collection here.
Exactly. They're all different ones, which is interesting.
Odd just points out a specific one. Oh, That one was fun.
Yeah, I was gonna
Somebody-
say that my character is perhaps associated with a specific cult of a forgotten god. Would I find a familiar insignia somewhere in the back?
Probably not.
Probably
It's-
not. Okay.
It looks like these all belong to the same faction. Like these all used to
Okay.
belong to members
Okay.
of a faction,
Gotcha.
but they were collected.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like passwords that
Basically,
have
yeah.
expired.
As far
Someone
as
got
the-
around at some point.
You have the journal and the deed left.
This is these
yeah, let's look
tokens.
at the
They're not the
deed.
sorry. These tokens. They're not the sort of thing that one would part with lightly. I would imagine.
Oh,
Not
This-
at all.
this
This
is
is a
the-
collection.
till
Yeah.
death do us part kind of thing.
Yeah,
Somebody-
not
somebody
a collection of
cleaned
coins, a
house.
collection of people that were taken down.
Somebody cleaned house. Somebody got a little upset, and they cleaned house, and they revoked people's membership.
hmm
That's what
Which,
I'm wondering about.
Something we might want to look at then is to see if we find any coins on our two friends here.
Do you have the deed and the journal still?
Yeah, look at the
So
deed.
You rolled a full success. I'm giving you all three.
Oh, I appreciate it. Oh yeah, let's look at the deed.
The deed
Odd
seems
just
to
harumphs as you take away her toy.
The deed, from what little is left of it, seems to belong to a Saint Agnes's parish, church, and there's enough of the deed left that you could at least get a good idea of where it is. Maybe not its exact location, but good enough.
Good
Should
to
we
know.
see if St. Agnes has perished?
Definitely one
Does it
way
have
that we
any-
could go.
Does it have any affiliation with the Church of Sorrow?
Would any of you say that you're of a religious study background?
Iffy. It'd be iffy if anything.
Okay, so probably not.
My character's background is Leviathan Hunter crew member, like ship crew member, with just a twinge of occult study for extracurriculars. So I don't know. 50-50.
In my experience, all churches breed sorrow.
That's not the truest thing said tonight. But the journal, or what's left of
Mhm.
it, talks about... It's certainly a time long ago, probably back when these two figures were in positions of power. And it talks about being afraid, feeling like you're being watched, like you're being hunted, like maybe the time has finally come. Maybe they're finally paying their price. Maybe it's these damned coins. Maybe that's how they're finding us. We're gonna talk to everyone that's left. We're disbanding the last of our promise. And anyone that doesn't agree, anyone that doesn't give it up, we'll make sure they disappear.
We'll make sure
That's
they disappear.
And this does
That's
seem to be
pretty-
written in Madam, why can I never remember her name? Madam Isabella's handwriting.
so that's what those are from. Lots of people didn't want to give it up.
Interesting to hear that the madam was part of a cult.
Is it?
Well, interesting in fascinating, not interesting in unexpected.
Do we
I
know?
mean, the Church of the Flesh is pretty common in brothels in town, but certainly I wouldn't expect something so boring.
I think at this point, as you've been investigating for a hot minute, you would notice that you five are the only ones here.
What?
Rose.
They have vanished.
Both of them. And both the victims do have the crow.
They do. Though
Mm-hmm.
everyone from the crows claims that they are ravens. Those are not crows in their palms, they are ravens.
Is there anything on the coins that looks like ravenish iconography?
Really? It's
Okay.
just, each is just so very similar, just this kind of nonsense marking, but each is just different enough to be singularly identifiable.
So it's a nonsense marking, but is there any kind of defined iconography?
Without any of you really being deep into the religious studies, really.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
But one of you did want to go over the bodies?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Whoever wants to, I feel like study roll. Again, controlled, probably standard effect. Hey,
I don't have any studies, so I'll leave that to somebody else.
I have 2 in study. Should I be
Same.
rolling?
Yeah,
You
I
could,
also
yeah.
have
No study. So
Well, we do have before anybody takes stress or gives yourselves bad times, we do have a full success and a partial success already, so that should probably
Uh-huh.
yeah.
cover it more or less.
you are certainly finding the markings on their hands. We're finding the damages to the neck, the wounds to the chest, whether it's just a slash or a stab. This, I think, being assassins, I don't think it's a stretch to see that, or to say that you could all determine what was the killing blow, and you'd recognize a good killing cut. And the cut to the throat, obviously not only lethal, but it is precise. Both are identical. Both are the perfect depth, the perfect force. And they were also the very last wound inflicted. Like, this figure wanted to cause pain before ending them.
So this was personal. Or at least he was paid enough to make it personal.
Wasn't drawn alcohol. 6, 7 seconds before the end.
It could be personal without being personal.
That's why I said also could be paid.
No.
Just be a misanthrope or a nihilist.
Sometimes you just want to have fun.
Everyone turns and looks
That's
at
what I'm
Odd.
talking about.
I was like, I created this character to be the creepy one, and I absolutely have to abandon that immediately upon meeting Odd.
Well, there's like creepy undead gunslinger, and then there's like creepy little girl vibes that just says the things that make you uncomfortable. They're
This is a
distinct.
character that looks up to Drusilla from Buffy, okay? It's fine.
The air, it worries. That was a Drusilla line for anyone that hasn't seen Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I swear I'm not just losing my mind. Anyways,
I mean, you are just losing your mind. Let's be clear. But
I am
There are actually not 5 other people on stream.
yeah, it's just me. But yeah, other than that, you'd find like a key to the house. You would find, a coin pouch, everything that you would expect to find on a person who was of former nobility, basically, now living it out in the slums. They weren't robbed. Anything of value that was on them, jewelry, it was left behind.
So who's putting that in their bags?
If
I've
you
got
want to take all
space.
that, I would say that's worth a coin.
yeah, sure.
Sure.
There's That's very important, Blaze, to keep that coin flowing.
That's a lot.
We'll take the extra coin. That's good. Capital
You
C
said-
coin. That's what we're talking about.
You said they didn't really spend time to talk, so obviously the pain wasn't inflicted to get information.
No,
No,
Yeah.
this was done too quick for that.
Mm-hmm.
they may have said something to them, but they were trying to get information from them.
They left all this behind. You said they went to the painting, unless they took what they already needed and just left everything else.
Mhm. I mean, when I say it doesn't look like they left with anything, they weren't like hefting anything in their hands. They certainly could have just slipped something into their pocket.
Exactly. Exactly.
Do we feel like they left a booby trap, or that it was just a safe measure?
Oh, they absolutely left a booby trap.
Yeah.
They
Because
did
I would
not
have
want
booby
to be
trapped my own
followed.
safe, so I
Mhm.
didn't know.
It's a
Alright.
bad idea. One morning at 3 a.m. you forget that you booby trapped it. And go, I'm just gonna take a look at the. Oh!
That was also a villain point from who spent that? From Diop.
Ah,
Oh,
so
okay.
that's why it blew up on a 6. Okay.
That's
I
okay.
will say, like, some of the, specifically the, like, charred paint that would have been partially engulfed by the fireball,
Mhm.
just gonna take a few filings away.
One last thing, I'd like to head these and see if I see anything underneath the stove where the box was placed.
There's shards of metal, it looks like. Like, whatever they set here likely was some kind of chemical, some kind of gas, and they set it to release, giving them time to leave before it hit the fire and then went off.
Equivalent of turning on, leaving the stove on.
Basically.
Hmm.
Kind of another thing. Would we be able to discern what the murder weapon was?
Yeah, I mean, one of you even saw it.
Mhm.
It's
Okay.
about
Blades.
a 9-inch blade.
Okay, great.
Was
Did I
it the
recognize that?
same as the previous blade that we saw earlier this evening?
You could say that it is very similar. Weird.
Mm.
It is weirdly similar.
A strange coincidence, right?
Hmm. And the journal said something about being good time.
Mm-hmm.
A stranger. I'll call them
A
just
repeat.
stranger.
Time to pay the
It said
price.
something about your time. Mm-hmm.
Well, we're learning. The more you two seem like the luckiest people tonight.
Which two?
Lucky is a strong
Uh-huh.
word.
Are there anything else that you'd like to investigate here?
I'm trying to, like, envision how close to, like, the door of the dwelling the bodies are.
10 feet, maybe?
Okay. So it's a situation where someone stepped in and then attacked, essentially.
Well, he forced the door open and
Yeah.
knocked her
And
backwards.
it
And
was
attacked.
opened willingly, and then before they could shut it, an arm was stuck in, and then someone booted the door down. So it was certainly a feat of strength. Also, Raiders, hello! From Captain J.
Hmm.
We are in a Blades in the Dark murder mystery.
I know we're not religious, but is there any obvious connection between St. Agnes Parish and the Church of Sorrows?
Off the top of your heads, probably not.
Is there anyone that we could tap for religious information?
Oh. Any of you have any connections you think might know this information?
We could do. Oh, go ahead. someone else was going to say something. If
I
not, we
said,
could
nope,
say.
I know an architect. That's it.
Okay. I was going to say, since the sentinel could be anything, it could be like a sentinel of the church, like somebody who
Absolutely.
guards the church,
Could be.
elite church guard. All right. Well, in that
I think
case,
the best I've got's a city clerk or a noble, and nobles could know anything because they have too much money and too much time.
they could know
You don't
anything,
have to
or they
file
could know
deeds.
nothing.
Yeah. So
All right.
we've
so,
got backups.
Grave will say, we might want to reach out to Celine, old friend of mine. She's somewhat intimate with the workings of the church. Might have some more info.
All right. Good ideas I've got.
All right.
Fina, maybe we do want to check with your clerk friend, because the deed has to be filed. Maybe we can figure out the other half that was burnt. Who filed it?
Sure.
Mhm.
Anything?
Where are we headed first?
Church friend.
Church friend.
Yeah, take me to church.
That song's gonna be stuck in my head for the rest of the night. All right.
Hosier is definitely some kind of like fey-like demon that
Yes.
hangs out in Duskfall somewhere for sure,
Oh yeah,
floating beneath the murky waters.
he provides the official soundtrack for Blades in the Dark.
There is one of those. I don't think it was Hosier, unfortunately.
Well, as we depart from this scene, you are now seeing just the urchins of this city kind of gathering on the edges of the cobblestone road, just waiting and watching, seeing that you've all entered unscathed, you're all leaving unscathed, more or less. And they are waiting for their moment to pounce and absolutely rip that place clean of anything of value. So there will be no coming back here. If there's anything else you want, take it with you, because once you step out, this place is gone.
Did we
We did
stash
search
away
the bodies.
the markers?
You did. You have the markers, you have the tattered remains of the journal, of the deed, you have
I'm
their
gonna
jewelry.
take what's left of the bombing device.
It's really just scraps of metal.
That's fine. We might need it.
Hey,
I looked in
do
their
this
pockets.
last.
Did I find anything?
We're gonna take it to the lab, have them run some tests. You know.
You found like glasses, like, a key to the house, everything you would expect someone who's
Sounds right,
like
key.
retired for the evening
Yeah.
to have on them.
In the background, I'll be tinkering with the scraps of metal like it's a Rubik's Cube.
Well, as we step out, the urchins descend like carnivorous birds just ripping into a carcass that's been lying under the sun, picking apart every usable bit they can find until it's just bones.
Be careful, the walls are not stable.
I think you'd probably get about probably 200 feet out from this building before you would hear something just collapse in the distance.
I was gonna say before we get too far past the urchins, Grave is gonna grab one of the more worldly looking ones, like somebody who looks like they've been an urchin for a while. Just kind of grab him by the shoulder and flip one of the coins through his fingers and say, "Hey, kid, you ever seen anything like this before?"
Just adamantly stares at you and says nothing.
Can I roll consort to try and change that?
These
All
do.
It's still only one die, so it's not great, but
I mean,
better than 0.
definitely
Oh,
from a controlled position.
What would a devil's bargain look like here?
They'll give you the information you want. No matter, I mean, I can't tell you how useful that information is going to be, but they'll tell you what
Sure.
you know. But you're going to be on someone's radar.
It sounds like the incorrect kind of terrible decision. Let's go. All right, so controlled plus 1d standard. You said?
Yep. Or no. Um,
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
That's fine. No,
I'll
you're
roll it
fine.
again. Okay. Well, it's a partial success.
You'd, as much as they try to hide it, there's some fear looking at it. And this is one of those marked coins you found, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I show him a dollar bill and say, "Have you seen this before?"
Yeah.
Um,
Only once. Never wanted to
Wh-
see it again.
where? Listen. I'm sorry. That was a rude question of me. That's Mike remembers he's using consort and not command. I'll tell you what, and I will pull. Like you said, we found a bunch of like jewelry and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So he'll pull out a ring. Be like, all right, let's fair trade's fair. Information for a little bit of something that the others won't find at this site. You want to get ahead?
We used to do some research material gathering for Dr. Mortain. Finding body parts, finding sometimes full dead bodies before anyone else could get to them, dragging them in to her laboratory. Saw her, that coin, talking to someone, I don't know who it was, but he just made me afraid just looking at him. I never went back after that.
Thank you. It's been very helpful. Did the person who she was talking to, were they carrying some kind of blade? And I'll describe the blade we all know about now.
You'd get an identical match of description.
Yeah. All right. I'll give him the ring and send him on his way.
Absolutely just takes off, not risking this ring getting ripped out of his hand, and just disappears. But I put the name in the chat. It is a Dr. Alara Mortain, a maybe a bit eccentric, but a fairly well-known physician.
I'll gather up the rest of the group to say there might be a cutter in town who might know more about this. Dr. Mortain. Kid
Never
said
heard of a
she's...
doctor being a cutter. And that
Wait,
one.
not cutter, sorry. Leech. Damn.
There you go.
I forgot my slang!
It's like never known a cutter to have that long of an attention span. But
Oof.
Dang. Yeah, there's a leech in town, Dr. Mortain, who might know more about this. Kid said he saw her talking to someone who was very clearly our guy.
My kind of people.
I literally have told you nothing about the people.
You
then
said
they-
leech.
No, right, okay. I thought you were saying that you liked them because they associated with serial killers, and I was...
Mhm.
I mean, you associate with us, never mind.
hey, a serial killing requires some sort of ritual bent. We keep it pretty business. So
Except
We're
when
not
we get
serial
paid
killers.
to add a virtual band.
That's actually a misconception. There are many types of serial killers.
Captain Crunch, Fruity Pebbles.
I'm just imagining Odd having like a little notebook in her backpack. It's just like drawings of her favorite serial killers.
Well, I think as we step out into the street, this is a great time for us to take a break, give everyone a chance to grab a drink, stretch your legs, do what you gotta do, and we will come back with the second half of this mystery. As some events have happened. You're players in a game, like it or not.
Huh.
We'll see you soon, everybody.
Waha.
Welcome back. Where we left off, we'd visited the scene of a murder which no longer exists, has been picked clean, though we do have our ill-gotten treasures in tow. We have a few stops to make on the way, but eventually we'll be making our way to the good Dr. Alara Mortain. Half of our party is going to visit a clerk, one that could help you find information about certain buildings, addresses, histories of structures, things like that. Whoever's going there, I feel like a consort role, but you're succeeding no matter what. So this is purely to see what extra information you can get.
Study
Which place
might
was this?
come into play.
The clerk.
Clark, I have a tune and no other social skills. So if you have any, I'd
Can I
love that.
convince you that study is really what we're going there to do?
Sure.
Like I okay, it's
She's
like
our
I know.
contact,
Of
so she's
consort,
nice
but
enough.
I'm not there.
It's like
Well,
yeah, it's like
She's nice
I
enough to
mean-
let us in. We just have to dig through the documents, so it's
That
study, right?
makes sense to me. You've convinced
There
me.
we go.
Would that be control standard?
Yeah, absolutely. No risk to this.
And can I take a stress to get an extra die?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Oh yeah, I got a 6.
no.
So, would you like to
Yeah.
know?
No, not good. Uh-oh.
What all would you like to know?
Stop.
All the stuff, everything.
So we're going to find out information about this deed, right?
St. Agnes's
And
Parish.
we saves the deed to St. Agnes's Parish, and anything we could find out about if there's like a lien on Madame Voss's brothel or
Yeah. Well, the parish hasn't been called that for a very long time. Its new name, or the name it's been known by for years, has been the Forgotten Sanctuary. Been left to abandon for a while once the old congregation simply just stopped showing up one day. Whoever used to run that church just left it behind and disappeared. There is no one listed as a beneficiary, although there is record of the building being sold before it was abandoned to Madame Isabella. Sorry, what was your other question?
I
Oh,
was
lean
looking
to
into
on her
Madame
house.
Isabella's.
No, house is paid off. Although, or not her house, her brothel. That was
Yeah, of
sold
course.
off long ago. It remains a brothel, but not nearly in the same prestige that it was.
And it looks like she sold it for a reasonable price. She didn't sell it for
Really,
pennies.
it was hastily sold.
It's-
I feel like Fina's mostly just like keeping the clerk busy the whole time, just to give like uninterrupted access, and just like, Petra, we never see each other anymore. We never go out.
And whose fault is that? I try and try, and you're always just so busy.
Listen, to skulk in the shadows, it's a full-time job, right? It's just, I understand. Hey, you know what? Silk Shore, next week, we could go shopping.
Hold you to it.
If I'm not dead and I have money, I'm there.
Shut up. But yeah,
I'm trying to imagine a shopping trip in this setting. Like it's just like
Yeah.
I'm just seeing you two with like bags full of like bright pink bags,
Yeah.
but then the sky is dark and covered in ghost lightning.
I mean, Silk Shore is that fun zone of town where all the weird stuff just ends up in stalls on the side of the street, and you can find a haunted music box if you want one.
I will also
10 of them.
say, with
Wouldn't-
the full success, you would have a blueprint layout of the church. You have the exact address and location. As
Hey, thank you.
well as like all the paperwork is kind of tucked away in like just old, almost falling apart book. And as you know, go to flip a page, part of it just kind of slips out and slowly falls to the floor.
Definitely picking that up.
Uh, it immediately assaults your mind, which, if
Mm.
you'd like, you can roll a resistance.
Yes, please. I don't remember how to do that.
So this will be a resolve resist. You can just click the word resolve, and that should roll it for you.
Nice.
Yeah.
2.5.
So you only take
One
one point of
stress.
stress, and immediately you feel not only the presence of whatever's on this paper trying to just engulf you, but something like shove its way as a physical barrier. You recognize the spiritual essence. It's hard to tell what spirit it is, but it is certainly a friend.
Mm.
And the two just clash for a moment before everything settles.
Was close. Eric's, if that was the thinking, maybe some ghost toast or something.
Would you like to look at the paper?
Yes.
Peter's just wild-eyed seeing that go down behind and just be like, so yes, Silk
I'm
Shore?
in the background like.
Silk Shore.
It looks like runes. Occult runes.
Mm.
At first glance, very similar in design to the coins. It very much just looks random, like someone just almost slapped together markings with no care, but you know that something like this, something that powerful to immediately try to consume your mind, isn't random. It has meaning.
Okay. Okay, so I'll tuck it gently back in the book, and I'll tuck the book under my book.
All right. As the two of you bid adieu to your companion, who is off to visit the church.
It's me. Hi, I'm the churchman. It's me.
Finding your contact at a lockdown, seemingly in a post guarding nothing, but you know that there's religious significance. There's vaults tucked away underground full of artifacts of a forgotten time. But showing them the coin, just kind of explaining the story. While they might not know exactly who this coin belongs to, they certainly heard of something similar, something that might pertain in old cult that was around, rumored to have dealt heavily in blood. Everyone involved was said to have been brought to justice long ago, but no one knows exactly for sure what happened to them.
All right. Well, do you know anything else? Any like name or anything?
No, if I knew any names, they would have been dealt with. Can't have people like that just running around. That's
No, sorry, I meant like the name of the cult.
oh no, that was long before my time. This was just stories that I've heard.
Well, thank you very much for the help, and I hopefully see, and not hopefully, and see you around. And he's gonna turn and walk back off into the mist.
Like 30 feet out, as you're disappearing, you hear someone shout, "I can still see you."
He doesn't say anything, and he doesn't turn around, but he walks a little faster to get into the mist faster.
All right.
This was supposed to be cool.
And that leaves us meeting together at Dr. Alara Mortain, with two of you arriving sooner, kind of scouting out the area a little. It's an average building, maybe 3 stories tall. You haven't seen anyone coming or going, although you do see someone like walk by the window every once in a while. There's a fire lit. Someone's clearly home. You are quickly joined by the rest of you.
Does it look like the general doctors anyone can walk into, or?
Yeah.
Right.
I
I'll tell the rest.
I do have a question. Could I know there's a mechanic for establishing like previous connections.
Mhm.
I
Flashback?
don't think Odd would remember the doctor, but I think that there is a possibility that Odd could have ended up on the doctor's table thinking that she was a corpse but came back to life at one point, which I think is something that would be quite memorable.
Absolutely. We can throw a flashback as you walk up to this office, staring at this building. It suddenly hits you that, oh, I've been here before. Remembering that moment of opening your eyes as you and the good doctor just stare at each other for a moment. And then she lets out just this scream of surprise, dropping the scalpel, stepping back away, and then composing herself, helping you up, and getting everything sorted. But, yeah. 1 stress for that. No roll
Okay.
required.
Something that makes complete and utter sense to have happened in Odd's life.
Yeah.
I mean, it is are any of us good with arcane?
You should be. I will say that as the whisper, that would be normally you.
Yeah, attune is arcane.
But
so-
I have 2 in attune just by merit of being spooky with my tentacle hair. So.
It's
And also
So-
help, yeah.
So yeah. I'll just fill everyone in on what happened, and not to touch the little scrap of paper, but the similarities between one and I'd suggest that Fina, that you don't touch it.
I feel like Pythia and Fina do this like thing where they just like look at each other and their hair does the little like weird tentacly thing, and it's like a just like a
The more
oh
that's up,
no,
the more
they're
agitated it is.
they're at it again.
She's taking her hair down.
So good.
Can I have? So wait, sorry. You walking in and seeing the doctor was a flashback, right? We haven't actually gone in yet. Okay, cool. Can I go in, or not go in, but can I roll a prowl to try and like go up and like on top of the building, you know, kind of looking in through like maybe there's a skylight? Could I establish that there's a lovely skylight to the doctor's office?
Absolutely. I don't think
Okay.
that's a stretch at all.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so with the fact that there is no stress in this moment, there's not necessarily anyone trying to hide from, you're not in any danger, no roll required.
Oh.
That's a skylight, more an improperly repaired hole in the ceiling.
But yeah, stare down, and she's having tea, she's eating crackers, sitting down next to a fire, reading a book.
Are there any metal shards on the ground next to the fire?
No.
Okay.
No, we're not blowing up this building.
No. Well, like, I guess knock on the door.
Yeah, like a
Before
normal
we do,
person.
just- quick huddle. Why would a doctor need someone to fetch body parts? That's what I'm confused about.
I have
Didn't
nothing.
that urchin?
Oh my god, I just figured something
Please
out as a
explain.
player, but there's no way that Grave would know it.
Well, you see, there are all types of things that you can do with bodies. Some harm, some heal.
Is there any reason to keep it secret?
Well, a lady's gotta have her secrets.
A dead
Well,
lady?
that and I think things like grave robbing are generally frowned upon.
That's just it. Why would a doctor need a grave robber? I'd imagine they have plenty of access to bodies, normally.
Not all
More
the
if they're not a good
time.
doctor.
You mean not ones they can, how do I say with the science types, research.
Just realize.
Maybe it's just about spare parts.
Sometimes.
Mm. Can I do a flashback?
Absolutely.
So, I feel like I don't know. Okay, I don't know if this counts or not, but Pythia has her own kind of shoot. Now I can't think of the word. Like a fortune telling, soothsaying mediumship business.
Yeah.
And she sees people all the time. Has the doctor ever come to consult with her to try to contact a loved one?
Could absolutely make that a flashback. Not necessarily a loved one, but certainly definitely believes in like the luck and fortune and fate aspect and like tarot and all of that. A big believer. For someone who is so dedicated their life to science, she definitely believes in that more spiritual aspect as well.
But she never tried to contact anyone specific.
Not undead. She's lived a pretty solo life, but she has come asking for guidance on work, on projects, on experimentation, on getting grants to do things. Always very vague, but you get the sense that she is more of an experimentation doctor rather than a private physician.
Okay, thank you.
And I don't think there's any stress required there. So yeah. Who would like to go knock?
Oh, I'll happily do it.
Here, a tea glass, a teacup hits the table as it's set down, and footsteps shuffle their way up to the door. It opens a crack. Oh. Must say that I'm happy to see you on your 2 feet this time. Please.
Of course, I thought I'd try coming in the front.
Always appreciated. Please do come in. And you have friends.
Yes.
Well, none of you look
We're-
gravely injured, so this is a social call.
You could call it that.
Have a seat. I just made tea if any would like any.
I know better than to drink your tea, Hoop. I accept
you,
no
Laura.
food
It's
or
good to
beverage
see
in
you.
this room.
Just because I tried to poison you once.
Yeah,
There have been-
it's
there have been
all of us. Like,
Poison
I bet,
rumblings
100% in
constantly
on the tea.
present.
Oh,
yeah.
I'll have to read her tea leaves.
I forgot Grave was up in the ceiling. I'm so sorry I forgot.
Oh, no. It's okay. I was just saying, I was joking in chat that I realized I decided to go be Batman, and that means everyone else is going to roleplay until I have a dramatic moment to
Yeah.
drop in.
Yeah, you're just
Amazing. It's gonna be
staring from
great.
above.
I bet you though, if you go back and clip, where just after the I made tea, like I bet all of our eyes were squinting. I bet all of us were like, "Now wait a minute." Like,
You made what?
I'd like to have you for dinner.
No.
That sounds lovely.
With some fava beans and a nice cat.
Well, you're all welcome to sit down if you'd like, or stand. What can I do for you?
Now I'm trying to remember what we were actually here at the doctor for because I've been so focused on being like
Crazy.
off the wall.
The doctor had been seen by the street urchin being like chatting with the serial killer.
One of those coins.
We were speaking with one of your collectors, and there was a possibility that you might have previously met our current query.
Met quite a few people.
This would have been somebody that had an affinity for stabbing people.
You are safe here. Please, just speak plainly. There's no need to dance around your words.
Well, we don't necessarily have a name for this person. They've managed to stay quite unknown. Carry a very distinctive knife, though.
Quite
just-
long.
We have an
Like that.
affinity for ravens.
Almost a surgical instrument.
There's like a few moments of thinking, and then you can see the moment that the light bulb comes on. Oh. Why would you ever want to deal with that monster?
Mostly for the fun part.
Mostly for the dealing with part.
Fun to be had there. There's only death.
Agree to disagree.
The dealing with.
Are you being hunted?
No, we're hunting.
Then you need to stop. You need to return home and forget that you ever set out.
Have you made a deal with them?
Of course not.
And how do you know about them?
The more I tell you, the more danger you're in.
Were
Need
they
to
a
go.
student of some kind?
How about a consort roll?
Let's see. Could I talk you into sway just so I have
Absolutely.
one die available? I will push myself to get an extra one.
I'd say this is risky to standard. Because at this moment, her fight or flight is in hardcore mode.
Risky standard?
Yep.
Should have wore my Lord
What
Skurlock's
is
old
was
risky
that a
standard
6 or a
t-shirt.
1?
That's a 6.
6.
Okay,
That's a full success.
sweet.
Even as she's getting up and ready to, pull the door open for you all to leave, she just stops.
Trust me, I can handle myself.
My father used to have dealings with this individual. Everything that he left me, I kept in a little box in my office. He came by asking to look through it, asking for my father's property. I said that I haven't touched it since he passed. He looked through it, took something out, asked me a few questions about some... Oh, what did he call it? Crimson something? I had no idea what he was talking about. He pulled that blade out, Thought maybe he would attack me, but he could tell I was telling the truth. So he left.
Ping! From the roof, the grave tosses one of the coins down to land right in front of her.
Ding, ding.
And then we'll drop down from the ceiling. Anything look familiar about that?
Why were you on my ceiling?
In case you tried to attack my friends. Better vantage point.
He's
What-
very dramatic.
What am I gonna do?
I don't know. You might have. Listen, just everyone stop making me feel less badass.
No, we're all just kind of sitting there, just staring.
Yeah.
I love. We're all just sipping tea.
I'm not.
Here
I'm
comes
definitely not
Batman.
sipping tea.
Yeah.
I'm refusing to sip tea. I think Finn would be like, "Hey, listen, that was pretty cool."
Yes. Are your
That was
knees
great.
all right? That was a fall. Now, like reaching down to pick up the coin. Yes, this is what he took from my father's possessions.
Interesting.
Just the coin.
As far as I know, I didn't really ask any questions.
I'm sorry to be so insensitive, but I must ask, how did your father pass?
Oh, I don't know and I don't care.
Oh,
Me
fair
neither.
enough.
Left me this building, this office, legacy of drunken debauchery, and that's about it.
In that case, congratulations, good riddance.
Thank you.
He may have left you more than that if he had that coin.
It's gone now.
She's still alive, so I think that's probably a good sign.
Probably so.
You
So depend
intend
on
to
your
go
spiritual
through
to believe.
this. If you intend to face this individual, whoever they are, I have a good sense of reading people when I meet them. This figure had nothing. Not like they were dead. Like they didn't exist.
Oh,
You, you know bodies. Um, did anything stand out about this person's body?
Didn't really see enough.
No strange movements.
They were very fluid. Clearly a trained killer.
Yeah.
Well, what little asking around I did, no one claimed them.
I think we're gonna have to ask this figure ourselves if we want any actual answers.
Don't
and rather than asking, I'd prefer to find out.
don't end up on my table. I don't want to be dissecting any of you.
Uh,
Oh, it'll be fine. The last time I walked out just fine.
Almost. Never mind. Be safe. Whatever you're doing.
If I were to come back from this, would you be interested in teaching me a few tricks of your trade?
Don't see why not.
I'll keep that in mind.
If we need to learn how to poison someone, I guess. Using a
Oh, I
knife
already
isn't
know that
hard.
part.
There's a very subtle art on finding the proper balance of natural remedies, hitting that overdose point. It is an art.
One that I'm quite adept at.
We all want to stop comparing cauldrons here. One last question, Doc. What were you doing with the body parts the kid was fetching for you?
I need to study musculature, study bones. It's much easier to
You
work
building a boy?
What?
Are you building a boy?
No.
And they say I'm the weird one.
I've been reading too many Penny Dreadfuls. Sorry.
So like go over and like pull up a hatch. Like it is clearly illuminated down there, but there's beakers, there's glass containers with various body parts. There's just dozens of books of study all open on different tables scattered around.
Yeah, I'm not building a boy.
No. I would never get by with what they legally give me to study, the remaining body parts after everything else is done. So I collect my own. I'm gonna heal anyone. I'll be the only damned person in this city trying to do so, but I'm gonna do so as well as I can.
One last question for me. Have you ever encountered a body that has been possessed? A living body
Suppose?
that has been possessed.
I suppose? A few times? No,
Did they have the same aura, the same like?
No, definitely
Mhm.
not.
Okay. Yeah.
Good luck out there. Like I said, don't die. I hear it's unpleasant. Some of us. And she'll escort you all out back into the...
Right.
Such a lovely person.
I was this close to asking her on a date if she kept talking about overdose points.
So, where to?
Well, I guess we gotta go check
Take
out that
me
church.
to church.
It wasn't me this time.
So, I feel like if we were to do another engagement roll, this probably also falls under stealth. Unless you have another means of
We're gonna
entry.
kick in the front door and start shooting. No.
Yeah.
I think stealth is accurate.
I would love to.
Do we have? Okay, I will say from our. This will make stealth especially good. From our blueprints of the church, is there a particularly good point of entry that we would have been able to identify? Because that is the detail you need for a stealth
You can
score.
absolutely get there through your underground tunnels easily.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm all on board for stealth because that's an extra die somewhere.
Let's do it.
That's what that means.
Somewhere. All right. Let's get back to stealth. We get the +1 automatically just because we're lucky like that. Is this particularly bold or daring?
We're hunting a serial killer that everybody
Yeah.
says to run away from, so.
I would say
Entering
so.
the lair of the
Warned.
beast.
Does this expose a vulnerability or hit them where they're the weakest?
We have a special point of entry.
You do?
Could be surprising.
I think that's
It's
fair.
good enough for me. Do you have any friends or contacts that could provide aid or insight?
Several already
Awesome.
have.
Yeah. And are there any other elements that we should consider?
We should consider that I'm Batman. Because apparently that's the character I created.
You
What?
made Batman with a gun.
Zombie Batman with a gun.
That's 4 die. I'm happy to take one of our hero points and throw that in to make it 5.
Sure.
Yeah, why not?
All right.
Yeah.
Nothing like rolling 5
Oh
dice.
my
in blades.
God.
Feels good.
We got a 5. So it is a mixed result. We have limited or partial effect. I would say that as we hit the tunnels, quickly making our way across the city, having the location pinned down, having some of the information at least, you're finding that the tunnel has partially been collapsed over the years, and it is slowing you down a bit to squeeze your way through, eventually finding that this place was walled off. Just a wooden wall, nothing fancy. The years have not been kind to this barrier. It is simple enough to dismantle it, but again, it's just slowing you down more than anything. So we find ourselves at a hatch, very slowly lifted, staring up at the pitch black basement of an abandoned church. Who's up first?
I will take out my lantern.
Is Pythia at the top of the ladder? No.
I will probably. I'll go in first as the resident lurk. I meant to lurk in the shadows. I will also mark for load. I have dark sight goggles
Okay.
on my equipment list, so I'll go ahead and mark that,
Nice.
and that should help with any dark seeing.
If you would like to roll your prowl, you already have a success. If you can get another success, I will consider it a crit.
All right.
Definitely controlled to standard.
Controlled standard. Sweet. Yeah, I'll just roll that.
Oh,
It's a 6, so it's
Nice.
fine.
Hey,
Absolutely
Well done.
a crit. Your companions and you've all taken such care to get here undetected. No noise. You've been careful.
The dark
You've been sitting on
goggles.
those the entire game. Just waiting.
I just noticed them sitting on my desk and figured it was like my like pink and yellow lensed ones are downstairs, so we're going for red for dark sight.
Yeah.
Well, yes, you slip in, just kind of lifting it enough to squeeze through, roll out into the room. You can see everything. It is covered in cobwebs and dust. It is also a massive underground room with pews just kind of pushed off to either side. It looks like there was, at one point, there was room for a congregation here. Hasn't been for a very long time. But at the far end of that room stands an altar. About 6-ish feet tall. The top of it looks like just this massive bowl. The entire thing. Hard to make out the material through the goggles. While you can see, details can be a little fuzzy. But for as dust covered as everything is, that altar is pristine. And you can hear footsteps from above you.
I think Pina would like open the trap door a little wider and just like motion everybody to come up, but like very quiet, and then point towards the altar as like maybe we should look at that.
Can you show us the hand signals you use?
Yeah, let's see. We've got
Amazing. Those of you with any proficiency in the attune would feel a massive pressure of death here, of spirits congregated into one place forcibly. What would you like to do?
I summon my ghost friend.
Ooh.
It's compel, and it uses a tune.
Absolutely.
Oh.
Yep.
Is it controlled?
I don't see why. Well, as I
Depending
say
on what
that,
you're doing, you might not have to roll.
yeah,
Basically, I went to. I figured there might have been the one who fought off whoever was trying to
Mhm.
possess me earlier. And try to get more insight on what's happening and what that was about and what's happening in this room.
Ah.
um,
Oh yeah. That's
I would ask for an attune roll purely to break through the noise, purely to get your voice heard by your companion, to get them to come to you and assist you.
so. I think this is if this is the ability, it's the compel ability, right?
Yeah, compel.
Yeah. So it's the thing is like what is the command you're giving it, and then it is the attune roll. I think the position and effect is based on how willing the ghost is to appear and talk.
Very willing.
So yeah. So
I would consider them friend. They are naturally wanting to help you. It's just purely getting your message across.
What should I put it position of that?
Controlled standard.
Okay.
Let
And
me-
because it's compel, do I get to add one? It's my special ability.
I don't that the special ability allows you to do it in the first place is kind of the thing. Yeah.
Good enough.
5.
You can feel that their spirit is certainly wounded. Whatever they tried to fight off is still leaving them on the weaker side, but they are pulled to you and are almost having to scream to you to hear them, and you are mentally screaming back to be heard. What are you asking for?
What happened to?
You would hear back through, muffled voice, trying to talk over what feels like dozens of other voices, asking you to be just a little more specific.
What I'm mentally screaming because we're still being stealthy. Say, what happened on that altar? Why are there so many spirits here?
They can't leave. They are bound, all of them.
To what?
Serve.
Serve a person? A man?
There were many that came through these halls, each of them offering their own sacrifice, each of them living a blessed life off of the death of an innocent.
Do many? What happens when their bound person dies?
They join the torment. Their soul is added to the pyre.
Can my friends hear me? If I whisper?
If any of you have any proficiency in attune, you could certainly tap into at least, Pythia's side of the conversation. But if you'd like to whisper, yeah, by all means.
Basically, I figure Pythia is already dealing with the hangover from the last time she did this, the last 2 times. So if there's anything you want to ask, do it quickly. What should I ask? Who controls them now?
What is this thing we're hunting? Yes.
Vengeance. I feel nothing but vengeance from it.
Vengeance for the lost souls.
Is it human?
Don't know who it's avenging. Don't think it's human. I don't think it ever was.
I'm sorry, someone said something and I missed it. Huh? How do we make it stop?
I'm not sure. They're bound to the altar, but I don't know that destroying it would set them free.
If we end this creature, do you think it would end their torment?
I don't know. Sorry.
No. Are you in danger?
If I stay here too long, I might be.
Okay. Last, this is it. Anyone have anything else to ask? Eric says to go.
Do the spirits have feelings toward the creature that we hunt?
Fear.
But no anger?
No.
Interesting.
That answer seems to surprise them as much as any of you.
Thank you. Please go to safety.
And they're, in an instant, are gone.
Mm.
I'm gonna make a
Oh,
fortune roll.
Dracula.
Do we believe the altar and the souls are giving the thing we're hunting power?
Maybe. I would like to check it out.
Destroying the altar can't possibly make things worse. Well, it can make things worse, but it can also make things better, and there's really no way to know.
It's about a 50-50 shot.
It
Well,
certainly wouldn't make
that's-
things the same.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Husband, why
Odd out here
would
making the
someone
most
hunt
sense.
Corey that's dead?
What the hell is happening in our lives?
When Odd is the voice of reason, we know that we are in uncharted waters.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a saying out there on the Void Sea, and it's, what happens when the Leviathan blood runs out? And the answer is, doesn't matter, it hasn't yet. So we can totally break that altar and it's probably fine.
Well,
I'm not
definitely
entirely
like
sure
to
that I
just check
follow
it
your
out
logic.
first. Let's just check out the altar first.
That's for the best. That's an anxiety you don't need in your life.
Also, just a thought. If this being has some connection to the altar, then destroying it could be a way to draw it out.
I mean, it's walking around upstairs, but yes,
Mhm.
that could get it downstairs very quickly.
So we could, like, take up positions and things.
That's, yeah. Pardon
Okay.
me while I blend into the shadows.
Yeah. I didn't
I do
take
want
the
to
special
ask
ability.
the huntsman.
Okay.
I want to ask the huntsman. This makes no sense. This creature is going after these people who have passed and collecting their coins. Why? What happens when they collect it? Why would you hunt someone who's dead? The belongings of a dead person.
Well, I think they have to collect it for something. I'm not sure who they're avenging, but what better for something profane like a bunch of cults to be under the roof of a church?
It could be that they're not collecting for vengeance, but for worship.
Mm-hmm.
Who'd like to go up to the altar and who'd like to take a position of ambush?
I will take a
Ambush.
position of ambush.
I was like, oh, we'll go up to the altar because I have a plan if we're doing the destruction route too. I want to check it out first, but I have a plan.
I
love it.
also have destructive plans.
I love it when the spider says I have a plan.
Because you know it's not going to work, but you know I can hope.
Listen,
Oh.
if you're not connecting red threads and conspiracying everything to make it look like you meant to do it, then
What do you
spider
mean to do
harder,
it?
my friend.
Okay.
And my
okay.
plan is very simple. My plan is boom.
See, yeah,
And you can
I-
always flashback to make it
You know,
100% certain that you meant to do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
Take a stress to make sure that people give you credit.
All right. Big brain time. I have a plan. I'm gonna try to get up there quietly.
Anyone that is going up, I will ask for a group prowl roll.
Okay.
Whoever's leading it, you will take stress from everyone that fails, but we are taking the highest amongst everyone that rolls.
Okay.
If we're
Um,
ambushing, we're not included in this,
Nope.
correct? Okay,
You are not.
sorry.
I can lead. That's fine.
She had a pretty
I
good
was
round,
going to
sorry.
say it's probably not a good idea for me to lead with my
Okay,
zero
great.
prowl.
Okay. Yeah, it's like I too.
You can push it,
Let's
take some
Pretty good.
stress.
Can I donate the stress?
You could assist. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, you're also rolling, so probably not assisting.
Oh, I'm not rolling. I just want to help.
So you're not going up to the altar.
Uh,
I don't have anything that would help
Then you
destroy it.
probably wouldn't be able to help much.
It's okay. I thought maybe holding the lantern
Okay.
so they could see clearly might help.
Well,
Is how we're using hero points.
mhm,
Adding an extra die.
absolutely.
Okay. I know we have multiple of those at this point, so I'll add one more die onto it. Okay, so
I might do that as well. So I'm rolling one die
yeah.
at least.
So I'm guessing this is risky. I don't know.
Yes, this is risky to standard effect.
Okay, great.
After this, we'll have
Okay,
2
thanks,
hero
Todd.
points left.
Great.
Was that with me taking one too?
We'll have 1 left.
Okay.
All right. So one stress for me.
You take a point of stress as the 2 of you are walking up, and if I may have a little narrative freedom here with Odd just kind of starts drifting off to the side, and you have to no, don't
Motherfucker.
drag him back. But yeah, you get up there. Minor noise as only a few of your steps creak just a little uncomfortably loud, but there's no alarm raised. Get up to the altar. How tall is Theodosia and Odd?
Theodosia's like 5'4", 5'5".
Odd is shorter,
So it's
like 5'3", 5'4".
It's anywhere
Inches.
from 6 to 7 inches above your heads, the top of this altar.
Wow, that's so tall. What?
It's very
That's
tall.
wild. Okay. Well, is there anything on like the sides of this altar that like we can kind of discern?
Did
Is it very
Pythia
clean?
show off that page with the markings?
Yes, she
Identical
showed.
markings.
Oh. Probably. You see that sign there? It says "Don't touch."
So, what the paper did is it tried to possess the person who touched it.
Mhm.
So, is this a channel to charge a battery?
Okay. If you'd like to do a flashback and have given that book over to your companions, you could do that.
The tropes did that.
Grabby hands.
Odd and Theodosia, the two of you have that book, you have that paper. What would you like to do?
Well,
There's what I want to do, and there's what I should do.
Mhm.
oh,
Because Pythia tried to resist.
Yes. Successfully resisted.
Oh no. I hate where this sentence is going.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think this is wrong, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
It's what my character would do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Reach out and touch the altar.
Your fingertips just barely brush against what is clearly marble now that you're close. The moment it touches, nothing happens.
oh,
Well,
okay.
that's disappointing.
Yeah, so I'm
Like,
not
it's
entirely sure
missing
what all.
something.
Yeah, I think we might have to get to the top of this altar. You think you could give me a boost?
Mhm.
Sure.
Put out the reminder that it wasn't necessarily the runes in particular that tried to possess Pythia, but the paper.
Hmm,
Whatever occultism was charged into that paper is what tried to possess.
Okay.
If that's the case,
Mm.
what if pen to paper
There you
to
go.
altar?
And you're not resisting.
Correct.
In a almost scream of a voice, Odd immediately just succumbs and starts calling out these occult chants and phrases and words and guttural sounds that really, for the most part, sounds like nothing. It sounds like gibberish. But bits start to light up on that altar just a little bit at a time until finally she stops screaming and the entirety of the altar flashes and then starts to sink down. Odd, I have some serious harm headed your way. Would you like to try to resist it?
No, no.
Okay.
Say no. Say no.
No, I think you should
The
resist
important
it.
question is
Now
what
that
level
now
is
that we're
that
to
harm?
the harm stage, sure, I can mitigate.
This
The
is level
harm.
2 harm.
Oh,
Okay.
Are you trying to mitigate?
Yeah.
This will be a resolve resistant.
Okay.
how heroic is this game?
How heroic would you like it to be?
Meaning, does successfully resisting reduce harm by 1 level or 2 levels?
By 1.
Okay.
I would say it depends on the harm itself, but in this case, successfully resisting will reduce it by 1.
And is this something where like stress helps?
So you're taking 6 points of stress minus whatever your highest die roll is.
Okay.
So don't roll a 1.
Or do.
That's a tall order.
A
That's a
5.
5.
You're only
Okay.
taking 1 point
No,
of
no,
stress.
no. We just
and a
heck, we just described to everybody. It's a short order.
1 point of stress and a level 1 harm of
Okay.
blood cursed.
Oh yeah, that's.
It's
Mhm.
great. Super great.
The
I love a
altar
good blood curse.
just
So-
sinks down, just
Just to
grinding against
clarify,
stone. Yes.
does filling my level 1 do anything right now?
The next time you take harm, it'll be level 2.
Okay.
That altar lowers till it's about chest level to the two of you. There's a pool of a crimson liquid. Though it's not quite blood, it's transparent. It's almost like someone watered down a pool of blood, and floating in it is an amulet. But at that same time, as one of your party just screamed an occult spell, the figure comes sprinting across the floor upstairs, hits the hatch, throws it open, and is just sprinting down those stairs.
Into the room with us?
Into the room. Those of
Can
you
I
that are
see
hiding in
him at that
ambush,
point?
this is your moment to shine.
All right. I will use my sharpshooter ability, so I'm pushing myself to unleash a barrage of rapid fire to suppress the enemy.
Ooh. Love it.
So that's I take a stress for pushing myself, right?
2 stress.
So 2 stress. Thank you. And then I will roll hunt.
I feel like this falls under hunt. I believe shooting a rifle falls under hunt.
That's my plan. Risky?
No, the fact that you're fighting from an ambush, I think you're controlled.
Hell yeah. Standard effect?
Is your ammunition magical?
If your weapon is fine, it gives you greater effect. Anything marked as fine
Okay.
increases your
Well, this
effect.
is
So
a
if you have
fine long
hunting
rifle. Yeah. So
That's
then-
the cool. That's fine as is one of the few words that has hard mechanical meaning in the game.
nice.
So typically, this would be to a limited effect, but because
Oh,
of the rifle itself being such high quality, it's up to a standard effect.
I
Which-
rolled it
which-
great, but I don't
It's
think it
fine.
matters that
It's still a
much.
5.
Yep.
Just unleashing that barrage, noticing that even though you are hitting them, they are continuing to march forward, just causing that moment of what the fuck am I fighting right now?
I mean, honestly, after everything we've heard tonight, I see him take a bullet and keep coming, and I'm like, this is kind of what I expected.
Yeah.
I would say that the complication of you are fully exposed. This
Oh, yeah.
figure is locking eyes with you, blade out and ready to charge.
Oh, come on, then.
I was also in ambush position,
Absolutely.
so I think it's
you
my
and
time.
Pythia.
Yeah, let the ambush people go, and then I'm
Does
probably gonna try to mess with this amulet.
does the sharpshooter suppressing fire give me greater effect than normal? Like,
I'd
is
say
that
so, yeah.
okay? Cool. So then I'll do my prowl roll to attack. I believe since it's attacking from stealth.
Works for me.
What does it say here under prowl? Yes. Ambush with close violence. That's what I intend to do. A backstab,
Yeah.
throat cutting, blackjack, etc. That's exactly what I want to do.
It's a controlled standard.
Sounds good to me. Prowl. It is controlled. It is standard. What do we got? Ah, that's terrible.
Oh. Ooh.
Can I? Because one of the options is to press on by seizing a risky opportunity.
Mhm.
Can I just expose myself a bit to keep going?
Absolutely, you can.
Phrasing.
Okay. I'm also gonna push myself to activate my Devil's Footsteps ability as well, so I can do something supernaturally
Yes.
ridiculous involved with this roll, and it gives me a bonus die. Risky standard.
Risky
Then-
standard, yep.
Okay. So
There
we
it
get this
is.
time.
There
There's
it
the
is.
6.
Hey.
Um, yeah, I think it's almost like the instant transmission, like Dragon Ball Z thing, just moving with like unnatural speed to get like right behind, and then probably not like kill, but definitely bury a blade into some part of this thing, and then just
Absolutely.
tear it out with like speed.
If I could add to the scene just a little,
Certainly.
just charging forward, it's almost like there's a moment in time where you're kind of stepping back You're seeing the events happening before they really do, and this figure just lashes out full on, just cutting through you, knowing that if you continue forward, you are going to die, and you just divert sharp right, whip up to this figure, drive the blade up, cut through the cloak, and the entire thing falls off. Kind of feels like flesh to cut into, kind of. But it also feels like you're cutting through something harder, almost machinery. And when the cloak falls off, you can see through to the heart. There's an entire hole where the heart should be. And inside is this mechanized organ that is just really pumping blood to the rest of the system. But this figure's not alive. Their body can take damage to the point where it can no longer function, but life and death don't mean anything to them. And you're getting that for as much damage as you just did, the best hope you have is to simply incapacitate. Which the two of you are very successfully doing at a rapid pace.
Clocks, baby! Mark them ticks!
Absolutely.
Fill the pie!
Thankfully, you never filled its detection clock, which means that it did not have a chance to go hunting you before this.
Yay!
Pythia,
Uh,
you're also in an ambush position if there's something you'd like to do.
While they have it restrained, I would like to go up, crack out my fine lightning hook, and hook it around its neck and electrocute
Oh, vicious.
That is awesome.
it.
Yeah.
Hoping I don't electrocute my friends.
Yeah. How do you feel about a wreck roll?
Wreck. Don't have any.
Finesse, I
answer to
feel, also works.
Finesse?
Tinker, I feel, works.
I'm thinking finesse because I'm trying very carefully to get it in a very specific way. Right on the neck, so that's where it's targeting the others.
For sure.
Okay. And
I would say this is probably risky standard.
and I'm sorry, I can't remember. Can I add stress to add that?
Yeah, you can add 2 stress to get an extra die. You can push it.
No, risky standard. God. Dang it.
Failure. You
Sorry.
go up, just reaching for the neck of this figure who easily stands 6.5 feet tall. Now that the cloak is gone, you're seeing the full Frankenstein's monster aspect of, limbs that have just been jammed together that don't quite fit properly. Bones are at an odd angle. Its body just isn't right. Its proportions are so off and broken. But even as you're reaching up towards the neck, that hand just lashes out and grabs on and up, brings you in for a hug, just squeezing you tight against it. And the eyes that look down at you aren't angry. This thing is not wrath. It's almost to tears. But now that it has you, it is going to transfer some of its wounds onto you. You feel an impact like you just got shot by a bullet through your midsection. And, Grave, you are a skilled marksman. You know the shots that you've hit. You know the damage you've done to a target. And as Pythia is kind of let go and dropped back down to the floor, one of your shots that hit about the midsection has healed.
Can I see that Pythia has been shot in the same place?
Pythia is heavily bleeding from the midsection.
Oh, hell.
But before this figure has a chance to go on a full rampage, there are 2 of you at the altar.
Okay. Can I yoink this amulet?
Yeah. Want to stick your hand in there?
Sure, why not? At this point, may as well.
How
We don't
about a
have that much time to think.
prowess resist?
Ooh, okay.
This is
Let's see.
quickly as you can, snatching that amulet up.
Okay, dice gods. Success.
Almost a crit.
Yeah, almost a crit. Let's
Hey,
go.
that's 0 stress though. That's still. That's for
You're-
free.
So-
Your glove immediately starts to melt off as you reach in and grab the amulet, but you can just rip it off your hand, throw it to the ground.
Nope.
Seconds later, it's gone. There is no sign of any glove remaining, but you have the amulet. You can hear spirits screaming in your ear the moment you touch it, begging you to be set free.
Yep.
Anything you'd like to do with it?
I mean, can I curb stomp it? I don't know. How do I break this?
If you want to roll wreck, I think Odd was already there with you.
Are you better at wrecking things?
Oh, I am made solely to wreck things.
Oh, great. Okay.
If you want
Yes.
to hand it over and just assist,
Yep. Yeah.
point of
We'll do
stress?
that because, like, I'm a skirmisher. I'm not a wrecker.
Teamwork make the dream.
Yeah.
Smashy smashy.
So, what I would like to do is to kind of how do I say this? I would like to put the amulet into a thing of fire oil and then throw it at the monster to ignite, like hopefully destroying the amulet and doing something to the monster. Now, in doing that, I'm hoping that that could be a devil's bargain because the monster could get the amulet if it doesn't work.
if this helps in your decision, I will say that the two of you, that as it's handed over, both of you'd get this information, that this amulet is powerful. What these spirits were here bound to, the power that's keeping them here, could be yours. This amulet would give you control of it,
Oh,
for
no.
better or worse.
Oh,
Oh, no.
Oh no!
Oh, no.
that's different.
That's a problem, is what that is.
That's a huge problem.
If Odd needs a moment, we can give this
Oh,
poor
no.
creature a chance to react before we go on.
I think Odd doesn't need a moment.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Odd would like to use the spirits to wreck the creature.
Oh.
And
Okay.
specifically, I would like to toss out the spirit bomb that raises the awareness of things in its sphere. So the creature would become more aware of the spirits, and then the spirits would go in on it.
Is there any resistance from you to try to fight against the amulet?
I mean, I'm trying to take control, so
You that is within your ability. You know that the moment that you accept that amulet's power, the spirits are within your command.
now is accepting the amulet's power contradictory to resisting?
Yes. It's trying to give you the power. It wants to give you the power.
Oh, then let's do it.
Just accepting.
Yeah. Let's test the Blades in the Dark isn't dangerous for one-shots.
Theodosia, you hand over the amulet after, you were getting ready to destroy it, knowing that Odd was there to help you destroy it, handing it over, getting ready to assist. And Odd just puts the amulet on, stares at this creature, and with a blade out, still kind of facing down your companions, your eyes flip over to Odd.
I think it's your time.
They start just screaming out. You don't know what you've done. You have no idea. And then just start getting hit again and again, their body just getting ripped to shreds. That heart still fully exposed, beating faster and faster. If there's anything else, especially those of you in immediate proximity to this creature, if there's anything you'd like to do.
If the spirits are going in on him, I'm probably just going to sit back and let that happen.
Yeah, I'm gonna let this one play out. That's not my bag. That's it's a little too much for me.
Theodosia? Theodosia?
I don't know. I feel like Theodosia's having this whole "you were supposed to cast the ring into the fire" moment. That's what
It's
You were supposed to bring balance to the occult, not join it.
I will say, if there would have been a moment where, like, Theodosia and Odd know each other, where like Odd is tapping into the power with full trust that Theodosia will take care of it if it gets out of control.
Oh, okay. Well, there's probably that initial shock, but like, okay.
So we've thrown around the phrase "taking care of" a lot tonight.
Yep, we really have.
Who knows what it means at this point?
Yeah.
Hey, it's dark. Who knows where those blades go, you know?
It's
Sin, do you have dice on hand?
I do.
Will you roll your attune, please, and just send me your result?
Sure.
no. What if we want to know?
Okay. God, where are you, Hoop?
Where I've always been.
He's in his house right now, wearing some glowing ears.
Whoa, how did you know that?
This figure, eyes still full of sorrow, full of tears, continues to try to step forward towards Odd, towards this amulet, and is just pulled back again and again until the body finally collapses. The heart is still violently beating, even though the figure moves no more. Odd, I will give you a chance to roll a resolve resist.
Okay. We still have a hero point available?
Yeah, I think we still have
do.
the
If
one.
not, yeah.
Yeah.
I gave one pretty
Oh.
recently.
I think
Oh,
we
we
there's
should
have
just
also
have
that
that
one,
one.
so too.
We should
So
have
maybe
two
I
we
haven't
dice.
used one.
I will add a die then.
Just one, so you can have mine if I had one.
Do you want me to add two? Should I add two? Is this
I mean, honestly,
okay?
If there was ever a time.
Fair enough.
Okay.
5, so 1 stress.
Yeah.
Don't worry about taking the stress.
Okay, that's not concerning.
That mean.
This figure finally collapses. And it's quiet again. Even those of you with attunement to the spirits around you would feel that pressure gone. All of those dozens of voices overlapping, screaming over each other, asking for help, gone. The only thing now is just that heartbeat thumping away, reverberating into the floor.
Remove it. We don't know if this thing can heal itself up and get up again.
Wouldn't be difficult. A few moments and a sharp blade, and the heart would be removed.
Is it still beating removed from his body?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
That's some sort of mechanical heart?
Seems to be. I think the only thing that whoever built this couldn't get going was the heart itself.
I knew somebody was building a boy.
I think
It's
we
not who
Somebody.
you thought.
Just wasn't who I thought. It wasn't the obvious answer. I need to stop reading.
Odd, as you see all of your companions kind of, standing over this figure, getting ready to walk out of this church, either through the tunnels or through the front door. Your body is following them. You're still in control enough that you can take in the senses around you, that you can feel impulses going to your muscles to tell them to move. It's just not you sending them. The only reason that you are still there at all is because you succeeded at that resist.
So I am able to attempt to tell my muscles to do things, at least.
At the moment, you can feel the possibility, but it also feels like you just used every muscle in your body all at once to try to fight something off, and then were left exhausted.
Then I want to at least try to tell my body to wreck the amulet. Like, pull it off me, essentially.
The hand starts to go up to rip it off and stops. Then one finger just goes up to your lips in a shushing motion and continues to follow your companions. You're there. You can fight. Just not at this moment.
I knew I should have shot the amulet.
Yes.
Am I dead?
No. Of course not.
Okay. Then the first thing Krithia would have done would be to say, we need to destroy the amulet. She heard the spirits crying out that they need to destroy the amulet. That's all she would care about.
Yeah. You're staring at Odd, who is wearing it.
I'd shout at my friends, you need to destroy the amulet.
Yeah, it's time. Grabby hands.
Also,
You gonna take that off?
don't give it the option, take it.
Odd, there's no reason not to. They're your friends.
I am going to try to take it off.
Absolutely. Your body and you are in agreement that they can have the stupid amulet.
Oh no.
Oh, I don't like that.
Oh, it's out of. They're out of. Whatever it is, it's out of the amulet now.
Hand it over.
Yeah.
No problem.
Uh-oh. Well, I don't think we know that.
Nope, we don't.
Yeah.
I'll take the amulet and toss it in the air and 6-shooter it.
Yeah,
I
no,
made Cowboy Batman, and I'm gonna Cowboy Batman till we're done.
it shatters to pieces. There's definitely a weight that's lifted off of this place, for better or worse.
I think this is right for when the amulet is gone, do I have more control again?
When it's gone, you wouldn't feel alone. As if whoever is in control stops fighting you and more kind of invites you to sit with them inside your own mind.
Then this, like, consciousness, like, self of Odd, like, imagining the, like, Full Metal Alchemist at the gate of truth type situation. Odd is just going to, like, smile widely, and her head tilts slowly.
In a mental headspace, again, with picturing that gate, two figures, you and this figure of somehow light and shadow combined, the figure just holds a hand out to you, as if to take your hand. You get that initially they came here through the idea of conquest, wanting to rip your spirit out of this body and replace it with their own, but something has changed their mind and they're more looking for a partnership.
I do not take their hand like a handshake. I take their hand like a dance partner accepting the dance.
Absolutely. The amulet is destroyed. You all step out of the church, again feeling like a weight has lifted, or a barrier has lifted, more accurately. As we are stepping out into the mist, is there anything that you would all like to do before we jump to a little bit of an epilogue?
I think Fina would just drop one of those like, by the maw, I need a drink.
What are we gonna do with all these coins now?
Spend them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably get us into some bars.
Melt them.
They can be melted
Those
down
symbols
for
are still dangerous.
Spog has a dice game and he'll take just about anything as collateral for a wager. Just saying.
I like this plan.
whatever power these coins once held. It's gone. They're just hunks of metal. But you are all free to go get a drink, to relax, to tend to Pythia's abdomen wound.
Speaking of that,
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we gotta do that.
turns out that I actually had skirmish. I forgot, but even more than that, I had warded. So I could have expended my special armor to resist a supernatural consequence.
Yes, absolutely.
Is it more of a flesh wound and not a through and through?
I mean, the blood that Graves saw wasn't your blood.
Dang.
Whatever spirit you just
There
used
we
to
go.
deflect that, its
Yeah.
essence was bleeding in place of you taking that injury, and you're fine.
That's
Cynthia,
terrible.
weren't you shot 5 minutes ago? You seem fine now.
Oh, it's been a strange
It
You're
always
telling
is.
me.
night.
Well, in the coming days, the coming weeks, that fog would lift some to the point where people would go back to their normal lives. The killings have stopped. One day you'd all hear about some abandoned church that burned to the ground. There was nothing left. You'd also hear about multiple people, over a dozen people that have come forward, seemingly hitting luck. Older people that have been reduced to nothing, their legacies torn to shreds, now re-rising in the ranks, buying back properties they'd lost, regaining fortune. Whatever curse held them back, shattered. And I think that is a fantastic place for us to bring this game to a close.
It's a happy ending.
Everybody wins.
Yeah.
It's
Truly,
fun.
everybody wins. I don't think
Yeah.
there could have been a better.
It's a good ending for Duskball.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Thank
Or
you
what,
all.
like a tier 0 crew? That's about as much as we get to know about a score that we do. It's like, hey, a bunch of people seem really happy that we did that thing, so it must have been a good job.
Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you to my lovely cast for playing through a very mean story, but it was full of intrigue, and we got tons of just. I had so much fun. Yeah, like I said at the top of the stream, we have the Caravan of Cthulhu week coming up soon next month, starting the 13th. We are going to be hosting a charity, and at the end of the event, we have a bunch of really cool stuff to give away. We're going to put out posters and infographics and all kinds of stuff with more information, so keep an eye out. And if you want to come roll some dice with us in the future, we do casting calls every month. So come sign up, come hang out. You can join our Discord. The link is down below. That big old button that says Discord. It is where we hang out. We post casting calls and schedules and just generally be big nerds. Each and every one of us. But that's enough out of me. I'm going to pass it over. Let everyone tell you who they are and where you can find them on the internet. We'll go the same order we did intros. So we'll start with Heck.
Hey everybody, it's me, Sir Heckalot. You know, I'm here on your screen. This is just added to the intro for some reason now. I don't know why I keep saying that, but it's just gonna
your
get longer and
catchphrase now,
longer.
you have to.
It's just gonna get longer and longer. My intros and outros are just gonna take forever eventually. But tonight I play Theodosia, the spider. Had a really good time. I definitely want to play more of this game now because it is super cool.
So
I tempted the GM. You can find me all over the internet at Sir Heckalot, including Twitch, Itch, for as long as Twitter is still around, Instagram. I'm on Blue Sky now. I got over there, so just find me. It's the best place to figure out where I'm going to be in the TTRPG space next, because I tend to wander a whole lot. Most notably, on Sunday, you can catch me over on Indoor Adventures playing Apocalypse Keys. Yeah,
I
it's
love Indoor.
Indoor is so lovely. I love him so much.
Such a friend.
Yeah, we're currently solving some murders over there too. So, if you like the vibe of this, you're gonna love the vibe of that group. It's such a good time. On August 1st, this coming Tuesday, you can catch me over on Neon Lights Roleplay for the finale of Gelgolim, our Rogue 2E campaign. So that is going to be weird, and I'm very excited. But yeah, other than that, you can catch me like on Dat Magic Juice's YouTube channel and like over on Enchanting Sorcery, Neon Lights, Singular. I'm kind of all over the place, so just follow me in places to figure out where I'm gonna be. That's entirely too much out of me, so let's move on over.
Over to Ling.
Hello, I'm Ling. I play Thea, the Whisper. I need more dice on most of the stuff from on the Blue Sky, and I'm still on Twitter. And I'm going to be back here on the 13th for Dark Ages Call of Cthulhu. So I'm
Yes.
excited about that. And I'm also going to be donating a big old chunky Cthulhu themed dice for fundraising and Kiss a Prize. So keep an eye out for that. And The only thing I have to say is that I want to play this game again. Okay.
I
Thank you.
love Blades in the Dark so much. It's such
It's-
a fun game.
One of my
It's
favorite
very
systems.
Then over to Mike.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mike or Mikey Fatum. It was so great to be back on Lost Caravan tonight. I love this channel and these people. You can find me every other Saturday night on Leon Lights Roleplay, playing Bite Marks, our new werewolf RPG. I'm playing the alpha. I promise he's more
For now.
competent than this character was. I'm let's see, you can find me on Twitter at Vengeance God. You can find me on Instagram at Broken Infinity Films. You can find me on TikTok at Vengeance God 2, and I'm also on Blue Sky now. I guess that's Vengeance God as well, if anybody's on there. I have 3 podcasts. I'm so sorry this is so long. I have 3 podcasts. They're all available at aceofgeeks.net. There's the Ace of Geeks podcast, which is just about to go through a major format change because of the strike, and I'm very excited for what we're doing soon. There's Edge of Reality, which is our TTRPG podcast, currently going through Candlekeep. And before that was Kids on Brooms. So if you want a awkward teens at a magic school with no transphobia, that's the place to go. And then we have Yavin Radio, which is something I'm very proud of. It is an improvised Star Wars interview talk show where 2 rebels who got left behind on Yavin 4 interview the crazy people they find around the base. If you like Lower Decks and Star Wars, it's that thing will be for you. And that's it for me for now. That's it for me for now. It doesn't need to go any longer than that.
Over to Ethan.
Oh, hi. I'm Ethan, at EJ the Grey on things. I haven't made it to any of these other new fancy social media. I'm still on the burning ship. That is
Same.
Twitter. According to the app on my phone, it's Twitter. So that's where I'm
calling
at.
it until
If
the
I'm
end.
anywhere. If I'm anywhere. If not, you can find me over on High Shelf Collective, twitch.tv, or in the Discord. Right now, we're kind of slowing down, but we've got some things. Hoop, you're over there next month, running some Slasher Flick, which is going to be super fun.
I convinced them
Also,
to let me play 3 games.
Yeah, you gave me that idea and was like, "Hey, wild idea! Let's cast 2 whole different groups." And I was like, "Let's do it." So it's very fun. I'm excited to see how that turns out. But other than that, I do occasionally play in our Mass Effect Cyberpunk Red hack Omega, which those rules are available at links in places. But I'll be back for that. And if not, if you want to run a game on High Shelf, come talk to me because I can help you make that happen. And I'm here to enable people with their weird role-playing game ideas. So please come tell me and we'll see how we can make it work. All right, and that's me.
And over to Sin.
Hello! Speaking of weird TTRPG ideas, I am Sin, Asynthetic20 on Twitch. I'm not cool enough to be on Blue Sky yet. Maybe someday. We'll see.
If anybody wants an invite, just let me know. I'll add you to the list.
Okay. But this was incredibly fun. I think my next tagline for my personage will be the next big bad, because I have tended to be the next big bad in multiple one-shots. But let's see. Tomorrow I am going to be over on Nerds with Dice for the next 5 Saturdays, and another 5 Saturdays later on. I am going to be in a masked campaign where we are all disabled superheroes.
I'm so jealous.
Which is really amazing. I'm very happy. And if you couldn't tell the type of characters I play, playing the Doomed playbook, so my death is written into the script.
Mm-hmm.
Hoop is like, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I would expect from Sid.
Yep.
Over the next coming months, I am also over in 3 campaigns on Singularity Roleplay, including one with Heck, where we are playing like rifts in the City of Mist, I'm also at a gay summer camp where nothing bad is ever going to happen to anyone ever.
Never.
And then I am also the next big bad playing an awful preacher man in a Locust game over there.
Nice.
So yeah, gay camp is incredible, and yes, Elsie is over there with me. We are plotting behind the scenes all of the things that will take place on screen. I also write TTRPG supplements. I can announce in October. I know 5e is the other dumpster fire, but the project that I started before everything went down, an independent Planescape supplement on DM's Guild that I wrote myself over 50,000 words is going to release on the day that Planescape releases. I have been working on it since last year, and I'm very excited that it's about to come to fruition. After that dumpster fire is over, I will be moving to other things. I'm working on my own TTRPG system that I'm hoping I will be able to get some prototypes in later this year. If you don't like prep, if you like rolling lots of dice, and you don't like math, if those three things describe you, you might be interested in the system that I am creating. Other than that, I think that's everything. Just follow me on the Twitter machine. Also, I'm going to be running a game on a stream. I can't announce like what yet, but follow me on Twitter if you are interested in getting information on that casting call that is soon to come out.
Heck yeah. That just leaves me. There's nothing important about me. We'll just skip on ahead.
No.
Come on now.
No.
I'm here every day,
Disagree.
running games all
That
the
means
time.
Outro.
I loved playing with these amazing nerds. You all were fantastic. This was a beautiful game of Blades in the Dark. And we hit almost exactly the 4-hour mark, which is so... It makes my ADHD brain so happy. But that's all I got. I'm going to throw a raid over to our friends at the Adventurers Pack, who's playing... I'm not actually sure what they're playing, but it looks fun. Whatever it is, they have a very cool battle map with a wrecked ship, so that's good enough for me. Other than that, as always, be good people, do good things, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.